Oh,
The rapper back then that was with Ja Rule and them that did Can I Get a What? Yeah.
okay. A meal.
Her name was Amil, Amil.
Can I get a
I
meal?
had to go.
You know what I'm saying? Let me get a
That
meal for
one.
a meal.
See, and if this makes it into the cut, this is the fool I met on the first night, y'all. This is it right here.
Yeah, you know,
He
I
was
love
so he
puns.
was he was so cute and unsuspecting and a little bit corny. Let me tell y'all.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition to the Rated G podcast. I'm your host, G. Derado. If you are new here, welcome to the show. This is a podcast where I have honest conversations and discussions involving all things art and creativity. And I often feature local guests that are artists, crafters, creative entrepreneurs, small business owners, and I just try to help promote their brand. And while doing so, we get into in-depth conversations and insights about our craft and just all the pursuits of, you know, pursuing this as a career. So if you enjoy this content, please follow and subscribe, ring the notification bell for further uploads, and leave a comment to help out with the algorithm. If you want to also support my artwork, I do have art content on my YouTube channel, so again, please subscribe to that. I share also vlogs or vlogs, however you want to say it. And I'm trying to get back on that and post new content, so be on the lookout with that. And for returning guests, not guests, audience members, welcome back and thank you for your continued support. Now let's get into the real deal. This is a very special occasion. I have two guests here, fellow vendors that I met at a local artisan market, and they are I don't know how to say this, but I am sitting with the founder and also partner of the Aubrey Richards Boutique. So please welcome Dara and Khara Carrasco.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good pronunciation.
You rolled those R's, buddy.
I'm what's the word? Is it prestige? No, not prestigious, pretentious. So when I see an opportunity, I'll roll the R's. Like I do it with my last name. So I just like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do it for the culture, literally for the culture.
There you go. Yeah. So yeah, thank you, ladies, for being on the program here.
Thanks for having us.
Of course, aside from having our back and forth in the DMs on Instagram, the last time we had actual interaction was at the I guess just the holiday artisan market at
Yep.
geez, the name is leaving my mind. What is it?
Shepherd Street Tavern is where we were hanging out.
Thank you. I am
Yes.
slow on this episode. I think the regular audience would know. But yeah, I'm slow on this episode. But yeah, Shepherd Street Tavern. Shout out to Renee Kelber because she throws.
Absolutely.
She's also been on here as well. But yeah, that was the last
Has
time.
she really? I've got to find that episode.
Yeah, for sure. I can send it to you.
Or link it on ours. I would love to see her. That's insane.
Yeah.
I didn't know she had done this.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I thought I mentioned it before, like at some point when we were talking about the event.
Okay.
And but yeah, she's been on. She actually came here and blazed a little bit and just got to
I love
hang
it.
and it like that's what I really love about doing podcasts. When the opportunity does present itself to actually have a hang, I try to really cultivate that with the podcast. Um, but yeah, at her event was when I met both of you, and it was such a
Yes.
pleasure. My initial I guess I don't know, reaction, but I initially felt like, oh, like this, it just felt so organic. So I felt really cool and comfortable with you, even making some edgy jokes here and there, maybe, like I felt like I can be cool with these people, I can be myself. And
Absolutely.
that's been my sort of day-to-day, I don't want to say struggle, but like that's been my thing adapting here for like the past couple of years. But yeah, it's been a
Yeah.
pleasure meeting you guys. And yeah, we didn't really get to talk as much as I had, wanted to. Just my
Of
head,
course.
we're all in like it. That's the hardest part about events is when you do
Yeah.
meet cool people, and like of course like during lulls of the event you you catch up and talk then. But
Right.
I don't know. Like I've had like thoughts, ideas about like having some sort of like a mini like group like after party. But I mean, at the end of the event, we're all like we're done. It's like we're ready to
We're
get
done.
out,
We're
go home.
tired.
So it's like, damn, like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get it, but like that would be so fun for me at least. And I thought, you
It would
know,
be fun for me too. I think I've always been the person that enjoyed the after party or the wrap up better than I've ever enjoyed the party. That's just
yeah,
me,
yeah,
you know? So, no, I totally get that. We're transplants here as well.
okay,
I think I told you. So, it is hard. It is hard to find that base group. It is hard to find out where you kind of fit in when you move around and stuff. And you would think by now that we'd be used to it. But yeah, I've had my little pipe dreams about I want to invite them over to like kick it in the backyard with the fire pit and different things. And it never comes to fruition. I never ask.
Mhm. Actually, so I don't I don't recall you telling me like where you're originally from. I always thought you guys were from here, from this area.
We're not. Cara,
Okay.
where are you from?
I mean,
Oh,
we were military, so we're kind of from everywhere. But I mean, I was born in Georgia, which it's a world away from where like my mom and father were born and everything.
okay.
But my two siblings, they were born. My sister was born in Tennessee, and my brother was born in Maryland. And Virginia was kind of just like, well, Richmond was the place that we all felt comfortable, and we all kind of like could see us growing, and that's how we ended up like buying a house and starting a business and everything like that.
After my husband retired from the military.
Okay, what branch?
Army,
Okay.
Army, almost 27 years Army.
Oh wow. My
Yep.
wow, my brother-in-law, um, who is from Virginia, he's former Marine. He just retired.
Okay.
Where are you originally from?
Brooklyn, New
Oh,
York.
okay. Have okay, you know what? Maybe I'm thinking maybe we I
We talked a little bit about it. Yeah,
okay.
because you guys were coming from Jersey, right?
Mhm. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, we talked about it a little bit. Like you said, we didn't really get to have the conversation that we probably could have. We were busy.
Yeah.
It's holiday season. Yeah, we were at the tavern. But yeah, so I'm from New York and my husband is from LA.
Okay.
And being military, all of our kids are born in different places according to our duty stations at the time and whatever. And it's been cool for us. I wouldn't give up those experiences for anything, but it was kind of crazy because my world just came kind of full circle in that I used to come to Richmond to party in high school. Even on my prom night, we drove from Maryland all the way to Richmond to go to King's Dominion the next day.
Okay.
And I think
So
she has a little kick out of that because now I go through Baltimore and Richmond and everything, kind of following in the same tracks she was. So it was kind of cool moving here and being able to kind of go to those places where I knew she previously was.
Yeah, she likes to go to Baltimore to party, and I would leave Baltimore to come to Richmond to party when I was her age.
Hey,
So
I don't party.
it's
I just
crazy.
go to concerts. Get that right. Let's go.
Oh,
My bad, my bad. She doesn't party. She just headbangs and screams and hollers because she loves the most ridiculous music. I mean, like craziness.
It's a way of
So,
life, okay?
ooh, ooh,
oh, I'm intrigued because I've been on this like rabbit hole with this cipher with this rap cipher. So
here
what
in Richmond, the ciphers that happen here.
no, this was it was something that went viral on TikTok, and then it involved this K-pop group that put out this rap cipher with four of the members are like rappers in the whole group. You know, it's like your typical K-pop dance group. They sing, dance, but they have like
Yeah.
it's like seven of them, and four of the members are known for like to rap. So they put out this cipher, and it was like it like I mean it was off my radar because I'm not really up with it with music. Like I tend to stick to
Right.
what I like. And but when I saw the TikTok and then I saw the whole cipher, it just like, and I saw because I also get into like YouTube reactors, and just seeing how it affected the whole like hip hop community. I mean,
Right.
it's like the hardest shit I've ever heard. Like,
Really? From a
wait,
K-pop
seriously,
group?
you don't know what I'm talking about? I
I
mean,
really don't. I really
okay,
don't. Now, don't get me wrong,
no,
because
that's okay.
my kids listen to K-pop and they have told me about some of the rap stuff that comes from this. And it's hard for me to kind of put it together. I'm old school. I'm from Brooklyn.
No,
You know what
I'm
rap
with you on
was to
that.
me?
Mhm.
Yeah, so I don't put the two together. The genres are obviously worlds apart, but I think that honestly, in this day and age, and what technology has done for literally every industry, I don't think anything's worlds apart anymore. So I just, yeah.
Yeah, the video itself is like it's art, like it's an art piece itself,
Okay.
but it's a cipher. It's four of the members, and like on top of like so, and again, these are like beat samples that I'm not as familiar with because I just didn't grow up with
Okay.
like the same artist, but it's like people know it for other ciphers or like JID. Like I didn't know who that was. But, like I know who J. Cole is, but like I grew up like listening to DMX and Wu-Tang and Redman and
Thank you.
you know like
Exactly. Because we're from
Rough
extreme
Riders.
coast. There's a different rap scene when you live extreme East Coast.
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. So that being said, this girl group called XG, does that ring a bell?
For
No,
Khara, you know?
no.
Okay,
I haven't gotten, I used to be into all of that world for a little bit, but I mean, there's so many new ones. I just kind of fell out of touch with it.
it hearing them and like their cadence and their
Mhm.
bars, Like it kind
Mhm.
of makes you question, like, oh shit, like they kind of make American like rappers, female and male rappers, kind of look bad because it's just like
What?
so young too, and like of course, like I'm sure like with the internet today and like the exposure they've had like over like growing up over the years,
I
like
have a theory about this. It might be a little controversial. I don't even know if I should say it here.
I don't care. It's like
Okay. I feel like, okay, so we're talking about K-pop. So
yeah,
a K-pop group. So we're obviously talking about Koreans. I
yeah.
have found that imitation is the highest, um, goodness gracious, is the highest flattery.
Yeah.
But I find that there is nothing that they touch that they don't do well. Whether they
Uh,
are singing,
yeah.
you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know. What is
Okay.
your take on that? Because that's kind of that thing for me. Um, my daughter and I were just having this conversation about it because it's kind of crazy for me because there's a lot of things that say, oh, people are culture vultures, or they are stealing things or whatever,
Oh,
taking stuff or whatever. And I really don't know where I sit with that because I'm 47, proudly 47. I'm cute. I mean, all of that. So I'm cool. But I came from an era where, you know, come on, we had Vanilla Ice. We had a lot of white rappers and different things or whatever, but predominantly rap as a genre
mm.
was Black people. We didn't have this big crazy uproar or whatever about white people doing rap or whatever because it was a culture. Does that make sense?
I think
Rap itself was a culture. It
mhm.
was Black, but it was a subculture of being Black, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So we didn't pay too much attention to a lot of things because we didn't take it necessarily as people trying to be Black as much as people trying to be a part of hip hop culture. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So when I look at Koreans and stuff, and like right now, they are doing a lot of like gospel music.
Okay, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, they do a lot of gospel music. And I'm not talking about like today's gospel music. I'm talking about, and I don't know what your church references are or whatever, but like old BB and CC Winans. And I mean, just like dated stuff, like for real gospel music and stuff.
Okay.
And now the rapping and different things. And, even sometimes it's funny to me because you can see them wearing shirts and they're terrible shirts and they don't necessarily know what the sayings mean on the shirts. And so it's hard for me because then that's when you understand that there may be some imitation to this. Does that make sense?
Mm.
So I don't know
Yeah.
how I feel about it. I want to feel like, and I choose to feel like I'm flattered by it.
Uh,
And then that's it.
Interesting. I don't know because I do think of like the hip hop culture as like a culture, but I mean, I feel
Yeah.
like as an art form, it kind of transcends culture,
Okay.
just like in a way it transcends language, right? Because,
Okay.
and I think, and I'm not gonna lie, right? I want a lot of the reactors, it's like, all right, this is gonna sound fucked up, so try not to take this as offense. Because I don't know, because like I grew up with like mixed friends. Like a lot of my friends were either
Yeah,
like Spanish or
yeah,
Muslim or black. Like it didn't matter.
exactly.
So I don't know. Like I feel like I just just nowadays I have to like let me just explain first my intention.
Okay,
Like I'm bad with words. Like that's my
okay,
catchphrase for the podcast. So I'm bad with words, but my intentions are true. Like um so like I would always I'm always gravitate towards like the people that are reacting are of black descent because there's like this all
hmm
authentic there's something about
hmm
the authenticity when what they're witnessing, especially regarding hip hop's like you don't joke around when you're pursuing hip hop, you know, as an art form, like the writing, all of it. So
right,
seeing the culture that grew up in this hip hop culture and then watching now art form transcend culture itself. Like now they're seeing like these these Japanese women rapping in English, Korean, and in Japanese and switching the language like within the flows like seamlessly is mind
yeah,
blowing. So I think that, and so like when I see that react, like, cause like I feel it too, but I'm like, I'm not a rapper, but
hmm
like I appreciate it because like I grew like that's kind of like the first genre of music I grew up on was hip
okay,
hop. So because I have three older siblings, so I kind of grew up on different genres of music over the years, and I'm really grateful for that. But my
of
older
course.
brother, who's a DJ, like he got me into hip hop. My older sister kind of got me into like alternative rock, which led into me diving into like heavier stuff and so on and so forth. And then my oldest got me to being open minded with like music from other cultures. I got into
Right.
like soundtracks, like movie soundtracks and stuff. So he kind of like opened those doors for me. So going back to hip hop, like so kind of like with everything that we said, I mean I'm just kind of looking at it, and I mean hearing what you had to say about it, kind of like makes me kind of like want to sort of recap on like my thoughts on this now. But no, it's
Yeah.
interesting, but it's also I can't take away from like how also like astonishing it is to see them, like I said, rap in three language. I think they primarily rapped in Korean, but even still, like when they're switching the language within their
Oh, yeah.
their flows. And like there's a Filipino rapper that I follow, he's become the same thing. Like he's known for being able to switch from English to Tagalog to another Filipino dialect, and it's like you wouldn't know until you realize like, oh, I can't follow these, like don't these I can't follow the scheme anymore. It's like, oh, this is a different language now. It's like, but
Right. Exactly.
it is again, it's I guess it's just
It's
it's like
interesting.
cool seeing the also their appreciation of hip hop too, because again, like when you hear the samples they use, like I mean, again, I'm kind of out of the loop, but according to a lot of the hip hop fans, like they're picking like these um what's the word, complicated like samples and like beats to
Right.
rap on top of, and then again like including the visuals and everything. It's like the way it was like produced was just like it was an art piece in itself. And then like
Right.
going back to the girls like rapping, like hitting like with these heavy hitters, and I'm like, oh shit, like and also like it's like this like girl, like I hate to be corny, but like I like Spice Girls, so like that girl power, they were like they had this
Why is
flavor
that
on.
corny? I love the
All right,
Spice
well, sorry, I say
Girls.
corny because like I grew up with like the toxic masculinity BS, but
Oh,
I
okay.
mean,
All
but
right. No, I get it. I get it.
in but like truly, like they, they just, I'm surprised you haven't seen any of the stuff I posted because I was like, dude, I was like, this Asian rap is like taking over. And I was like,
Let me tell you. So I have a love-hate relationship with
yeah,
social media. So
I
I
feel
try
you.
to get on and get gone. You
Hmm.
know,
Post and ghost.
it's just a lot. The whole thing is that we split days on who's holding the account for our boutique.
Oh shit.
So even if you talk to us, you might not be talking to the right one of us. So you got to check it
Oh.
a little bit because it makes the whole Instagram thing able to do because it can be overwhelming. It can take over your life.
Yeah, because neither of us are major social media people.
Mhm.
And so being able to switch off and on, which I will not reveal the days that we are switching, so you guys will never know. So being
Yeah, I'm
able to switch
like,
off and on is very I mean, it takes your brain out of like having to think about what to post and when to post it and everything.
mm. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. And it keeps, I will say this, and then I'm going to get right back on topic. What it does for us is that it gives the boutique full range of our demographic. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Because obviously I'm 47, obviously she's 20. So our demographic spans that. And so the things that we post are going to be appealing from 20 to 60. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Because both of us give input in our social media. So
Great.
that's how that works for us.
Yeah, that's great. Actually, this is a perfect segue to go to the Aubrey Richards Boutique. And may I say, I feel like an idiot because I'm like, who's Aubrey Richards?
No,
Because I'm like, I know
you're
Dara and
not
I
an
know Khara, but I'm
idiot.
like, who's Aubrey?
Oh my gosh,
We
that's so
get this
funny.
question all the time. So I'll say it. I am Aubrey. I'm not I'm not that spelling of Aubrey, but I am in Aubrey. I am named after who is the Aubrey.
Look at
But it's a
face.
family name. It's a family name that we kind of decided to go with.
G, come back to us. Are you okay out there?
Sorry, I feel like I'm in an episode of like Black Mirror or something. Okay. I've never
So, okay,
no,
so
but
let me break this down because we do get this a lot. As a matter of fact, a couple of Saturdays ago, we were out at Star Hill Brewery and somebody was talking to me and they called me Aubrey and I said I'm Dara and they were like, hold on, we've worked together plenty of times, how come I'm just now finding out you're Dara?
I mean, and
And
us
I'm
will both respond to it at this point.
we both
mm,
respond to it because yeah, you get the Aubrey Richards Boutique and then nobody that showed up was Aubrey,
uh,
but it really is, she really is Aubrey. But what happened, in all honesty, I'll make this as brief as possible. So what actually happened is that, well, what Aubrey is, who Aubrey is it is a family name in my family. And so she is the third iteration of Aubrey, third generation of Aubrey. And so I don't know. As women, what happens a lot of times is we kind of get this yearning, so to speak, for a lot of us think it's maternal and we want kids. And what I came to find out was that that feeling will come time and time and time again. And as a creative, it comes time and time and time again. And I don't know if for men, when that feeling comes over you, if you're feeling like you want kids. But as a woman, society has kind of dictated and told us that that's the feeling you feel when you want kids. And so I had convinced myself that my kids are on their way to college, all three of them, and I wanted another kid. I was like, what is this feeling? This is crazy. And as I sat with the feeling more, I don't know. I had even talked to my husband and he had agreed to adoption. We were talking about adoption as a family sometimes. And I was like, okay, I'm thinking about doing this whole kid thing again. And so as I sat with it more, I understood that I didn't necessarily want a kid. I could have easily taken care of that itch, so to speak, with a dog. I could have a pet, period. I could have taken care of that with anything that I could nurture. And so what it was that I birthed a business. But what I was able to understand about myself was that the best version of me in my adulthood was my third kid. The first one was an experiment. The second one was a trial run. And
I was the best,
I
period.
got it right.
Nice.
I mean,
So
I
I
guess we
kinda
can tell
wanted
that
to-
I'm the favorite.
I kind of wanted to kind of pat myself on the back a little bit then, but then I had needed this kind of tie-in for who I was growing into. And one of the things that happened with my husband and I both was while he was on military duty, I lost a brother and he lost a brother. And I was like, ooh, I kind of want to give this whole thing some perspective. So the brother that I lost was also Aubrey. And the brother that he lost was Richard. And the business that I wanted to nurture was Aubrey Richards. And so that is how that came to be.
Whew.
I know, I told you it was convoluted, but it's this journey of getting to know yourself.
Damn. Well, that's pretty wild. And I like that. I
It
can
is.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
But I don't know. I guess I'm just used to seeing a lot of, just I have like mixed feelings about social media as well. Like
Yeah.
like you were saying, post and ghost, basically. I try to do that
Yeah.
too. And I even have timers on my apps telling me like, oh, like 40 minutes is up, you know.
Same.
So I get it. It's like you almost when even just like being an artist, like a visual artist, you're kind of co-signing to be also a content creator in order to
Yes.
just have a successful brand on any level of success. Like as long
Right.
once it becomes like your basic income, but yeah, and it's fun and it provides a lot of opportunity, but there are like I'm noticing now, even like through the podcasting, like there's a lot of artists that just like prefer to just do the work instead, not have not and then I fell into this trap of like doing this now, but selling the sizzle but without the steak. And
Yes.
I want to sell the steak. And I'm like, that's how I've been feeling too. And I still find myself in the cycle of, just posting content to stay relevant or to stay in the algorithm. Like
Yes.
it sucks. You have to play the game. Unfortunately.
It does suck. It does suck, but you're 100% right. You do have to play the game. It's unfortunate because as a creative, we don't have, well, period, as people, we don't have infinite energy. It is very finite. But as a creative, your energy seems to become even more finite because you use so much of it being creative.
Yeah.
So if you now have to juggle social media,
Yeah.
you really don't have all of the energy that you need for the creativity for your class, because now for your craft, because now you're using some of that creativity for the craft of social media. It's a little bit, I don't know, some days I feel selfish, other days I feel like, it's a way to reach people, and then other days I'm just like, I don't want to be bothered with it. I straight don't want to be bothered with it. I want to use this energy for what I want to use it for.
Yeah.
When we are a creative, God bless, we really can create anything. Creatives can create anything, but whatever our medium is the way we've chosen to create. Social media forces you to have to create for them. That's it.
And I've found that even not even just social media itself, but the people on social media, they want to be entertained. They want to see your content. They want to see what you can make. And having to dedicate 1 or 2 days a week of just batch making content, that's a lot of energy. And that's a lot of energy and time you can't put back into your own craft. And I mean, we've had social media hiatuses where we're just like, we can't think about anything because we are completely sapped from that. So we can't focus on our business and do what, we started the business on.
Yeah, it's interesting hearing from you because you're still so young. So even when I hear of other people around your age that are like that kind of have the same mind frame as we do in terms of like how we feel about the current social media and like the usage of our devices and stuff. It's like, oh wow, because like you're, I guess Gen Z is like the most recent generation right now.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, like it's just interesting when you come across some Gen Zers that think like, what am I? I always forget what I am.
How old are you? That's
36.
the real question.
I'm gonna be 37 in November. So
Oh,
millennial.
baby.
I think I'm a millennial,
Baby.
right?
I
Yes,
think
I
it's
think
so
you are a
millennial, yeah.
millennial. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. I don't feel like it. But maybe it's
But you
because
said you had older siblings, so I'm sure all of you trends older for that reason specifically. I think that's the same thing with Khara, is that she's the youngest. And so with the other siblings and coming from three heavy cultures, so to speak. I am Guyanese and Black, and my husband is Mexican. I usually refer to him as my partner. I'll say it once as husband, and then from that point on, it'll always be partner. And so just to let people know, but he's Mexican. And so coming from very heavy culture and having older siblings and being around all the older people in the family, I think she's just old.
Yeah. And I mean, I wasn't raised in a child's household. I was never allowed. I was allowed to be a kid, but I wasn't raised as just being a kid. I wasn't like, oh, you have to sit at the kids' table. You can only say this because you're a kid. I was allowed to speak, and I spent a lot of times around my grandparents. So, I mean, my grandparents weren't even the people that kind of babied me or I was allowed to do that. So I find that not that my views are old, but certain aspects of me are old, and that has shaped kind of my point of view. So kind of back with the social media thing, I'm definitely a post and ghost. I mean, on my page, on my own personal page, I post like concert photos, and then I'm just like, all right, this is good. Y'all sell me for the month. That's it.
Yeah, I really admire that because I try to practice it all the time, like my usage, like how much screen time on social media I have.
To have to slow down and make a video while creating or record the process, like those are things that I don't want to say enrage me, but I'm definitely not happy doing that. I hope that doesn't come across in the video because that's not what I mean. But if I'm creating, I want to be focused on creating. If I'm doing art, and I do mostly digital art, so I'm on the computer.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit with a camera over my shoulder or whatever while I'm creating. Khara was saying earlier that I can be weird in front of a camera. It makes me self-conscious.
Yeah.
I think it makes a lot of people self-conscious. It makes me aware of my mistakes. I want it to be perfect. That is one of the things that every creative just suffers with, is this need for perfection.
Oh,
I don't know if I explained to you when we met, because I seem to have this conversation with anybody else who's a creator. Like, we have an issue with perfection. Oh my God, I just created a magnet not too long ago that says progress over perfection, because I'm constantly having to pipe that in. But once you add that camera, it automatically makes you feel like it should be close to perfect. I don't want to be bothered.
Yeah, and we've made content that we thought, all right, if we're doing this process, let's just go ahead and film it. And then we end up scrapping the whole video or the footage from it because we're like, well, it wasn't perfect, so no one needs to see this. So, it's that energy that, okay, well, I have time to slow down and make this, because everything takes longer if you're recording it. And then being like, well, it wasn't how I wanted it, so obviously no one else wants to see it. It's an issue that we both have within the whole
and who's
business.
Who's more critical than yourself?
Yeah,
exactly. Why are you shaking your head like that, G? Tell us how critical you are.
I completely relate. I have my own rituals, like for a lot of things involving my artwork. As like earlier, I'll just say I was getting slow. Yeah, I was getting a little slow earlier, you know what I'm saying? And but it helps. It really it helps me. I use it as a medicine. It helps me do the podcast, because normally I'd be like, I have like my art rag. It's my paint rag, and I use it to dry my hands throughout. Like, if I'm not, if I don't have what I need, I'll be like just doing a lot of like just drying my hands throughout the whole thing. And
hold on. Do I hear hyperhydrosis in the room? Is that what we're talking about?
I don't know. I've never heard of that before. So
you've not?
No.
Oh, Khara, help him out. Help him out, Khara.
Well, is it like it's a constant drying of your hands? So are like your hands always sweaty?
They are when I'm about to do my work.
So it's probably anxiety induced, or you're about to do something. But I personally suffer from hyperhydrosis, which is excessive sweating of the hands, feet, and armpits. And it's not anything you can control. It just happens, like hot,
it's
cold.
Anxiety induced. Yeah, exactly.
Well, for some people it is. For me personally, it's not, but I know a lot of people
I'm talking
that
about
have
for
it.
G. His sounds like it's anxiety induced, and that's it. You're getting ready to do crap.
No, well, when I smoke, my hands stay dry, and then I can.
Yeah.
So
that's hyperhidrosis.
Okay, so, but are you then also like casually confirming that THC can help with that?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Definitely.
I always thought it was
we already knew.
I wasn't sure. I've been like in question, like searching of like is this all like in my head? Because like I'm like, it really helped. And it's funny because like my hands, if I'm like also, I guess, like emotionally like invested, like my wife and I were UFC fans. So we follow like every fight night. We both get invested on the fights. And when I'm watching it, it's like I guess like in a way it's like almost like being an empath where you kind of feel like the energy, like the emotion.
Yes.
So when I'm watching
Yes.
fights, my heart rate goes up, it goes into fat burning zone, and then my hands get extremely sweaty. And it was
Mhm.
it was funny because we were watching a fight, and I was considering like just going sober for like a week or like the rest of the month because I ran out of bud. So
Mm.
I was like, maybe I'll just stay off and just do like a detox, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with
How
that.
convenient. How convenient. I ran out,
Yeah.
so now I'm sober. I
Yeah. So
love
now I'm
that.
just gonna be sober for a month. Well, well, so we're watching the fight, and I guess like, I was just so in it, and my Nicole, she got so concerned. She's like, do you want should we buy more weed? Because your hands are so sweaty. I was like, I mean, I was trying to hold off, but like I might have to if like, like I guess like hearing her reaction sort of confirming like, yeah, like it does help me when I'm in those situations, especially
Mhm.
again when I'm about to draw. Like it sucks, but it does always seem to be the case when I'm approaching my work. Like I have to, just depending how bad it is. Sometimes I'll wear my iPad glove, and that'll
Mhm.
help to a degree, but yeah, there's just some days where it just goes through that, and and I'm working on mixed media or watercolor papers. So the shit, it just warps up. Like, damn, I gotta make use of that space now. I can't just have like, dead space that's all wrinkly for no reason.
Exactly. I
Yeah,
love it. I
I
love
am definitely a victim of that. Like I've messed up watercolor stuff with
Yeah.
sweaty hands. But while I'm not a weed user, I
Hmm.
don't know, like I've used CBD. So
Okay.
CBD kind of has that same effect on me. I can use that and it'll stop me from sweating, and it allows me to stop and like focus on what I'm doing. But I gave up on like using paper. I'm just like, let me just use my iPad because I know like I can't get a sweat mark on that.
Yeah, I have to have like the what do they call it? Um, I have to have like the both CBD and THC if I'm gonna indulge in any.
together. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's called full spectrum. But yeah,
yeah, full
absolutely.
spectrum. I
Absolutely.
have, and like honestly, because I've smoked weed for so many years, so I feel like just my tolerance, like I have such a hard time gauging my tolerance, especially with edibles. Like I don't,
Mhm.
just the way my body breaks it down and all of that. Like
Right.
I can eat like a whole rope of like CBD nerds rope and like
Uh-huh.
okay, but if I ate like a whole cake of something that was like 300 milligrams or whatever, like that'll put me to sleep. So, like it's so
Exactly.
I just don't I
Exactly.
don't I just don't really use it like unless it's like a special
Yeah.
occasion. But if it's for me just getting through my day to day, like I just
Yeah.
old school, I'll just use my pipe, and then that's it.
I love it. I
But
love
it
it. And
helps.
you have to know what works for you. Believe me, there's a lot of manufactured big pharma stuff
Yeah.
out there that's supposed to help with it or whatever. But if it's nature's way for you, it's nature's way for you. I don't knock anybody for whatever. Like she said, she doesn't smoke, but
But the
my other
THC
kid
helps.
does.
So,
It does.
yeah.
It does for a lot of people. Let me tell you. I don't know what the latest stats are or whatever, but just in our lives between people that partake and people that don't, I'm telling you, I see a lot of the same results and conclusions from people that are using manufactured to people that are using au naturel. So I get it. I get it. Whatever it is that gets you through, I absolutely hear it. Obviously, I don't want to see anybody abuse anything. I love that you said in your day to day. So we're not talking about abuse. What we're talking about is lifestyle. And I
Yeah,
totally
absolutely.
hear you. I love that.
And don't get me wrong, there are moments where, yeah, I might be a little, I might be a little useless for a moment in time if I like, of course, it's like, like anything, you can
Useless?
abuse it, and
Look, I'm
that
getting closer
happens.
to the screen. Did you say useless?
Well, yeah, because if I'm just like in my head, right? If I'm just like
Right.
in my head thinking about some crazy, some crazy ish. I'm sorry we got into this whole conversation about marijuana.
Oh, I don't mind. I mean, I mean, how we got there is you talking about your creative process. I'm
Yeah.
fine with that. Please don't apologize. I think it's fine. And on that note, you and I, there was another guy that was there, and I cannot remember. I do remember his name, but for all the wrong reasons. His name was Peter. His name was Peter, and yourself and me and Peter were talking that night that we were out there, and we were talking about creativity. And I was saying that, in fact, as artists, period, how many of us actually hit it big, and then how many times will you create something that big? And so I'm equating that, I'm putting this all together because you're talking about your creative process. I know people that literally can only hit their peak of creativity after smoking because, again, creativity is not infinite. You have to nurture it. You have to get these ideas from somewhere. They are just not floating out of the air and you just snatch one and keep it for yourself or whatever. You have to nurture creativity. And some people don't have the experiences or the time. Some people have to lower their threshold through smoking to really hit their peak for creativity.
That's a really interesting way of looking at it, because I mean, the way I guess I've been looking at it is that, like, I have, everyone's different, but when it comes to like
Mhm.
coming up with ideas, like, shit's always going on in my head. So
Right.
my concern would be like, all right, now it's about execution. So I think, I like to think that, the THC helps take away the ego and the worry, and like, takes away some of
I
the weight
love that.
off, so then I
That's
can,
beautiful.
yeah. But like, cause then you don't have to worry, you're not worried about entering those areas. Like, all right, now I'm free to explore. So I don't think it's so much like, like like uh, this painting here. Like, I didn't need
Mhm.
to smoke weed to come up with that idea. I've always had that idea. It's just
Right.
like a matter of like, and I have an idea of how I want, like, visually, like that was like in my head, but the marijuana sort of helps me to just, again, take the ego away, so then I can do it, and not
Yeah.
be, and
Yeah.
of course there's still like the perfectionism and all that in there still, but there's just enough to let go of, all right, now I'm just gonna sketch it out, and then so
I didn't know, and I hate to just blast in like that, but I didn't know what I was doing this podcast for, but I just that quick, I've got my takeaway. And dude, I'm taking that with me because that's one of the hardest things in life, period, is to shut down that damn ego. It talks so crazy, it behaves so crazy. It makes us walk away from what could be opportunities and everything. And I love that. I love that you said, your smoking helps you shut down your ego. It takes all the pressure off and you just get to come to it raw and get into your craft. That's what I'm talking about. That's dope.
Well,
That's dope.
I
You think
battle
you a
my
poet or
ego.
something? You think you a poet. I got you.
I
I
battle
love
my
that.
ego all the time. So, you know, it feels gross when I say it. Like the THC, the marijuana, really helps me kind of just stay balanced because, again, like I'm always battling ego. So, I have a very strict, morning discipline of always working out every morning, and like that kind
Yeah.
of helps me get through the day. But sometimes, like because there's that reward of like, just I like to say conquering your inner bitch, which is the ego, and just like go through the workout because you're gonna feel amazing when you're done, regardless, because you're
Right.
probably gonna exceed your expectations, which was like, oh, stepping in the gym or whatever it is. So like,
Right.
oh, the reward in itself is getting through it. But for me,
Right.
sometimes I'm like really high on that stuff, and then like
Hmm.
like I could post some like toxic masculine type of shit on social media because I do that sometimes. But again, if I like smoke a little bit and then go in the shower, stay off my phone for like an hour or so, again, like all that time, and then yeah, like I take a couple puffs, and that just helps kind of bring things back down a little bit because I'm like all hyped up, like really excited about shit.
I love it. I love it. This is the inner workings of G. We are checking
Well,
out.
okay. Well, I'm
We
talking
are
way too
checking
much about
out the
myself,
cogs and
so
wheels here. That's the cogs and the wheels here. We're seeing how they turn. I
well,
love that. That is a ritual. That is a ritual. And I love that. Although I will say I don't get into tradition and ritualistic stuff or whatever, but I know what it is to have a craft and to have to set up and come to it kind of open and pure every time you do it. My family witnesses me missing for a few hours and coming back with a masterpiece in my mind. I'm not going to say it sells like a masterpiece, but it takes me a little while and I come back and I'm like, hey, look at this. I'm literally walking from room to room, like, hey, look at this, like a 6-year-old kid. Look what I can do. Because I've gotten into my ritual and I'm moving through it. And, it feels good. Now, don't get it twisted because the next morning I'm probably scrapping that and starting over. You know how this goes.
uh, yeah, I have a lot of trouble parting ways with, um, with old, even just like concept work. Like, see,
Yeah.
this is my problem is like everything turns into a potential sellable item. So
Uh-huh.
even if I'm
Uh-huh.
just doing these daily sketches as like an exercise or a warm up, like
Yep.
I look at it, I'm like, if this was bigger, I could probably sell it. Like there would be potential.
Okay.
Like they're,
Okay.
but like it's supposed to just be an exercise of like drawing a head in this certain angle. But then the next thing I know, I'm drawing fucking, I don't know, Henry Cavill looking upwards or something, like it just turns into like this whole thing. And so I'm trying to, again, I guess just like being a perfectionist, like I'm trying to
Yeah.
go back to being okay with like the rough stuff and the incomplete stuff.
You have to
I'm
be.
like reverse
You
engineering
have to
it.
be. because it gets into your head and it will fuck with you. But not only that, the biggest thing for me with that is, so I have this thing where I do things so many times till I feel like I can't get it wrong. Does that make sense? So I do it enough times till it feels natural. And all of the things that I do it with up until that point, I have a tendency to be able to look at as a prototype, and I gift them. I gifted like 3 things yesterday dealing with my art. So I'm working on something now because I asked somebody to collaborate with me to do like gift boxes for Mother's Day, but a very limited edition, like 6 of them, not even a whole bunch of them. I just really want to see what our synergy is like and what we create together, because I have such an admiration for this person's skill set and I don't possess those same skills. So I'm like, all right, let's do that. And so the thing that I've been working on, I have made over and over and over again. My daughter will tell you, yeah, she makes it over and over and over again. But we were going out to visit a friend yesterday who has like a 5-month-old baby. And then Sunday night, she had 3 baby goats. And I'm like, I'm coming to hold all the damn babies. And so I went out to visit her yesterday. And so I think I had like 6 or 7 prototypes, and I took 3 or 4 to her. And I'm like, these are for you. And she was like, no, these are your art and different things. And I'm like, yes, because I'm going to keep doing what I do, but I can't take the amount of stuff around me all the time. And I don't want to hold on to the stuff. Stuff for me, just the buildup of stuff and having to look at it is a no for me. And also, it would be hard for me. I'm thinking about the way you work or whatever. To be able to do what you do means that I have to assess a value to that thing in all of those stages. And I think I would lose my shit.
Oh my God.
Because you're talking about, it came out this way or that way or whatever. And my perfectionism would eat me alive in that regard, because I would have to assess a value to that. And that's so hard. It's hard to assess a value to anything we do.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, when I do those monthly like scavenger hunts, sometimes
I love that.
and I'm like, oh, I could sell that. I'm like, am I gonna give that away? Am I just literally gonna leave it out on the streets hoping someone would grab it? I'm like, so there are those moments when I'm looking at it like, oh.
No, that's one of those times when I found out you did that. That's one of the times when I thought you were really brilliant. I had never heard of anything like that. I hadn't seen anybody do it. And it was really funny because I was like, I know this ain't the same dude that was over there telling little stinky jokes. I was like, whatever. And he's got the nerve to be brilliant.
Actually, I did want to open the podcast with your initial reaction, both of you, like just of how we met, because I'm aware sometimes I give certain vibes, but I was like, yeah, because again, I felt it felt all cool and organic. So, but I was like, I wonder, like, my awkwardness was like something they're familiar with, or like this dude's
it doesn't bother us. It doesn't bother us. We have traveled enough. Our surroundings, our family is diverse enough that we have really learned. And I know, and I'm not tooting my own horn, but I am. I know that I got it right when I see how she comes into contact with the world, because it's this quiet, warm acceptance of whomever. And that's one of those things as parents where you're like, okay, I did that. I did that. I made that. It's that thing. A lot of times, when you're looking at your kids, but that one, that's my ride or die. And yeah, she was warm to you and there was nothing to it. We didn't skip a beat because we can figure out 30 reasons of not getting along with people, 55 reasons for why they didn't feel right, 24 reasons for how they looked at us, and 5 reasons for how they smelled. Nobody has time for that.
And I mean, we were all there for the same exact reason, doing the same exact thing. We were all setting up and selling and sharing our businesses and the things that we do. So who am I to look at you and judge you for something that I'm sitting out here and doing the exact same thing, or kind of like try to come up with like my own
how
opinions.
You make yourself comfortable in that. You were fun. You were fun. Do you know how many times we work next to people and they literally keep looking to the side at you or whatever, like you smell bad? I'm like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, but I mean,
when we, it's crazy. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, when I meet people, I try to take whatever judgment I may put on, and I try to take that away and allow people to be themselves, because I will 10 out of 10 be me. So allowing people and giving them room to be themselves, I find, is a great recipe to make connections. And so I really enjoyed meeting you out there. And I was definitely, as I was looking through even your work, I was able to see more of who you were through your own work.
Oh. And your work is great. It was really cool to see your work. I enjoyed meeting you, but I enjoyed that you were kind of like a real person. For me, a lot of times when you come to these environments or whatever, sometimes people are just bringing their persona for that place, for that space. And what I'm often looking for is, I want to make a sale, but for real, I want community. I love that part of it. The way our business works is that I'm a maker. Number one, I'm a maker. I do art, but there's this other side to it that is boutique. The format that you met us in was just our maker format. So there's another whole side that brings in clothing, accessories, things that we don't make, but things that we source. You know what I'm saying? And so that wasn't present there that night. Gotcha. And I'm glad that it wasn't, because when I come to maker events, we come for community. That's our favorite places to be. We love doing events. We love doing big events. We love selling our boho chic clothing. We love doing all of that. But that doesn't always offer the camaraderie and the warmth that maker spaces do. And so we met you in a maker space, and you extended warmth and funny from the jump. We was like at the door, and this dude then started cutting up already. We were like, all right, it's okay. We kind of looked at each other. We're like, we're about to have a good night. Okay, cool. And that's what it was.
Well, I'm glad you felt comfortable. And for all the listeners, I totally told them to say all that good stuff about me. So
you are so
like, if
silly.
you guys say these really
God.
nice things about me, I'll tag you in all these posts and stories. And
so funny. Not hardly. But in the space, you're a nice breath of fresh air. There's sometimes when you meet makers who don't want to be called makers. they're like, no, I'm an artist. And I'm like, oh, you're an artist. And it took me a long time to be able to call myself an artist because, again, my first love is collage, mixed media. I go ham. Do you know how long I would have to work on something to be able to sell it?
Yeah.
With that. So I really took to digital work because I could produce it faster. I'm sure you understand that. Yeah, I could produce it faster. And it took me out of my head quite a bit with my perfectionism, believe it or not, because a lot of times, according to how you calibrate things or what you're working with, that line that you meant to draw and you really meant for it to be straight didn't come out straight, but in the program, it corrects for you. So it does take care of your perfectionism a little bit.
Yeah, it does. It definitely helps. But then for me, there's a little like a little guilt added there for me. So like now I
I
know
have no
all
guilt.
these lines that
I
look
have no
really
guilt.
good.
Look at this face. There is no guilt. No guilt.
That's why you look
I
so
got
good
over
for
that.
your age, because you just,
Thank you.
you ain't stressing.
It's guiltless. It's guiltless age. There you go.
All natural.
That's it. But yeah, I know I dealt with that for a long time, G. I really did. I felt guilty. I didn't produce anything for a long time because I didn't have the time to produce it.
Yeah.
Going digital gives that back to you. Khara designs in Procreate. That's a good bit of extra help when you come from Photoshop or Adobe. You understand what I'm saying? Procreate takes like all the hurt away. I'm like, whoa, I would love to work in Procreate, but I haven't learned it yet. So even for me, when I know I want to produce something and I can't figure it out, like exactly what this next piece should be or whatever, I have absolutely went and purchased graphics or whatever and purchased licenses with my graphics or whatever so that I can then change them and make them my own for when I cannot conceptualize that next piece.
Gotcha.
I don't know that it makes it less mine or more mine or whatever, or how I'm using it or integrating it. So there's this wavy line there, you know?
Actually, I've been wondering
I
about
just
that.
say, yeah.
That line. Because like I think in your description, right? Like you create your own art, but you also use art, like you purchase artwork from other artists. Like how does that how does that part work? Because I've mistaken
So
another vendor sort of like yours. Now I don't know, like at least I know, like, you guys are artists, so I know you're also
right,
creating the stuff. But I've
right.
mistaken someone's product because I thought the designs on it was theirs. So I was like critiquing it as if they were the ones that did it, but they're like, "Oh no, I just got it off of this and then put it on there."
Oh,
Like, oh, I'm
okay.
like,
So that person, yeah, that person creates differently than I do. So even that, yeah, there's a distinction. So for me, what happens in the digital world is that, and I've done it myself, is I can create a whole bunch of pieces, let's say. And in boho art, there's a lot of pieces, whether it's an organic shape or an inorganic shape or whatever it is. And so what happens is that I can go to different sites and I can actually sell those. I could sell them as a package. I could sell them individually or whatever. And you as a buyer could then come and purchase those pieces or whatever. When you purchase them, you can purchase them in license or licenses that say you can use it however you choose to use it, but you can't resell it in the original format that I produced it. You understand what I'm saying?
huh. Sounds like you're describing NFTs.
Exactly. This is the NFT before the NFT.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. So you can sell it, but you have to do something else with it. You cannot sell it in this format that you got it from me in. Okay.
Yeah, so like
And so
well, like to kind of put it into more context, like if she was doing a big mixed media piece and she wanted just like a newspaper clipping, she could take a newspaper clipping piece that someone else like may have created or done the work on and mold it and shape it into more of her art, because she creates all the other aspects of it, and it's just like, okay, that one blank space needs this one thing, and so she'll take that newspaper clipping and put it in, and so it wouldn't be in like what the original format would be. It would still be modified to fit, you know,
the
her
piece
art,
that
I
I'm
would say.
working
Yeah.
on.
Right.
And to make it even clearer, because I know we're talking about that wavy line, check this out. If I'm doing a mixed media piece and I say, if I'm physically doing a mixed media piece and I say, okay, I want to put newspaper or some type of print in this space, and I go to the corner store and I grab a newspaper and I come back and I tear it up and I've torn a piece of somebody's article and I've now used my medium gel to put it on my board or my canvas or whatever. I've still created my art with that person's piece from the newspaper.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
That's definitely a distinction between, as opposed to, I mean, this is my assumption of what the other lady did, is that she just got the art from some source and then just put it on on like a mug or whatever. Like
Exactly.
what describing is obvious, is a lot. It's completely different than, again, I'm making an assumption, but I feel like a lot of people also do that too. They just slap on,
Yeah.
artwork.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Absolutely.
but at least
Absolutely.
like
It's
you are
not.
repurposing it. So that's the difference. You're repurposing.
I am repurposing it. I am manipulating it. I am making it mine. Or if I grab that piece or whatever, I had a girlfriend that had visited me and she was asking me about my additions to an art piece. Because even this piece behind me, I created it for one thing, and then I created it again, and then I created it again, and then I created it again, because of course that's what we do as creatives or whatever. But the form that I love it most is that very Basquiat crown. The form that I love it most is in that, with that Basquiat crown on top of the head. And I had three faces because I'm very into inclusion. I'm into diversity. It's what my family looks like. That's what I thrive in or whatever. So I produced her kind of like with a more Asian type portrait, what is obviously a more Black woman's portrait, and then a white woman's portrait or whatever. But all of them, I don't care how I did those, and it's considered one line or whatever. And the thing is that regardless of how I created them, the format that I love them most is with that reference to Basquiat on their heads. And I love that. The name of that whole series is called Heavy as the Crown, but I have produced her many different ways. But now they have that Basquiat crown. That crown was not my crown. That was a crown that I purchased. I put it on my girls. I resized it. I added color into it and everything. Unless somebody takes it from me, you're never going to find that crown in that format anyplace else. But that's mine. Those are my girls. That's how I used them. And so that's it. That's what I'm talking about. But I bought the license to that crown.
Right.
To put it inside of my work. That's it.
But I think I guess what it really comes down to is like, who is the person handling the artwork, right? If it's just a person
Yes.
that's just, like it, because obviously the artist that purchases other art to, to repurpose it or reuse it, like,
Hmm.
there's a lot going on behind there as opposed to someone that just buys the artwork to put it on again, like a mug or something. So
Yes. Yes.
I
That
guess
that's very, very different. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I guess what I'm getting at is like, I feel like that can be like in your line of work. I guess
Mhm.
I don't want to say you have to worry about those type of vendors out there, but that's probably like a thing, right? Is that a thing where you got to kind of worry
It
about
is a
certain
thing.
like
It
hats?
is a thing, but I don't worry about anybody. But I do make a distinction. Does that make sense? I make a
Yeah,
distinction between that person being a vendor, period,
gotcha. Yeah, that's
and
a lot
me
better way to
and
put it.
me exactly, and me being a creator and a maker and a vendor. Like I'm wearing more hats. That's a
Yeah.
vendor.
So, it's really funny you bring that up because that's something that actually stuck with me since we met, is that you told, because when you found out I, host a podcast and whatnot,
Yeah,
you say like, yeah, like you wear many hats. And I'm like, yeah, like, like I guess so. But,
yeah.
you know, yeah, that I've always had that stuff like replay in my head. Because there's a lot of
But
times
you
where
do wear many hats.
yeah,
Yeah, you do. You do. Even that one, you look cute in it. It's good.
I'm hiding my
But
bald spot.
that is hilarious. But yeah, that's the thing, and that's why I use this saying all the time, and I've picked it up in my life. I'm definitely not the source of it. But the way we do one thing is the way we do everything. And so you can't look at yourself and call yourself a creator or an artist of art.
Mm,
You're a creative and you have multiple expressions of your creativity. And that's what I was talking to you about that day when I was like in the podcast. Yeah, you're a creative
mm.
and you create many things. Art is one of your expressions, but you have a few expressions. And that's what keeps me enjoying the makerspace. That's what keeps me enjoying you. I love to pop over and see what you got going on because it's always something ridiculous. It's either it's either fried chicken or burgers or or bots with tentacles and
Yeah.
stuff. I giggled to myself the other day. You had posted something and it literally just brought me back to your art. And I thought, how cute is that? Because you just had this listing of how many bots were plaguing you. And it was
Oh.
just bot after bot after bot. And I laughed to myself because I said, this is going to inspire this fool, and there is going to be some piece of art behind this
I don't
because
know.
your imagination and how you come to things is just really cool. It's just really wild. I don't want to blow your head up too much,
Wait.
but
Oh.
my kid, my kids actually purchased from you and then gifted each other with some of your stuff at Christmas time.
Oh.
And that is like, they're proud pieces. I mean, like proud pieces. And I thought that was dope. I thought that that was really dope, but also it takes away this separation or this disconnect that we give art a lot of times,
Mm.
like to know the person that created that for me is always an honor. I absolutely love that. So to see them shop for frames, to see them pick the place and you live in the area. I mean, supporting local art, supporting ourselves, and seeing our communities support us. That's dope. That's just
Yeah.
dope. I love that.
Yeah, I've been, well, you mentioned community earlier, and like Yeah, I mean, that's been one of the main things like I've been also focusing on, since moving here. And I've always kind of I ask myself like, all right, like what do we like, all right, community, like we all talk about community, but I'm like, what is it about the community that I'm looking for? Because like
Hmm.
because I think you said it earlier, like, there's community, but there's also camaraderie.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like don't all I could really say is like if you were to go check episodes of older episodes of Rated G when I'm with these two other artists, we do these group shows.
We call this the bitch fest. This is where we bitch and we, complain and just rag on everything. So
and we say the same thing every single time. The only thing that changes is just the day on the calendar.
Yeah, it's really cool to sit down with you guys and really catch up because this is really a like at least for me right now, it's like the true form of camaraderie I have right now. And
sounds like you need to find yourself a whole new group of assholes.
Yeah, but it's tough, man, because like everyone's so nice here.
You know what? That's real. I absolutely hear your heart when you speak in those terms because like coming from military communities, like I tell people I don't know what the military family situation is like now, but for us, we were just straight fast friends. Like we moving in that morning and that night we're having a steak and a beer or a glass of wine. And that's how we become neighbors. And we're so intertwined. It's so hard. It was so hard for us. As a matter of fact, I won't say too much about him because it's just really his story to tell. Our son went straight through my husband's military career with us and everything. And at 19, he had a bit of a breakdown and we were like, whoa, what is this? So he went back to our house in Ohio. He came back after COVID or whatever. And I knew something wasn't right. I absolutely knew it. We had him to meet with doctors and everything. They were like slow diagnosing, and the mama bear that I am went crazy. Looked at everything I could, researched everything I could, and I said, he has ADHD. This guy has ADHD. And I had to have him seen twice. I mean, we drove out 2 hours to have him seen by one person, and it came back. He had ADHD. But let me tell you, the separation in lifestyle and him not having the supports and all that, we grew up with he grew up with as community or whatever, broke a little something in him. And life seemed a little bit more hopeless. And it was kind of crazy. And to build him back or whatever and help him define community for himself and to get those friends around him again and the people he can talk to is, as you say, shoot the shit with. He's a different guy here now in the last 2 years, but we watched him sink really low. And when we all had to be honest, what we knew was coming out here in this civilian world away from what we knew as community in a military sense, it was so much less. We had to work so much harder to connect to people. And we're like, why? People aren't connecting just for the sake of we're people and we need connectivity. Yeah. We're all kind of going through the same shit and we need each other. And we realized that, out here, that's the place that church takes for, that's the place of church for some people. That's the place of family for some people. That's the place, that's the, the space that school takes for some people. And we weren't used to that. It was just like, we're all here, so let's do this. And so we really weren't finding community. Coming back to the maker space and whatever for myself, I'm finding community in the same sense you are. But what I really hope to take to each of those events is that I want to commune. I want to be connected. I want to be inspired. I want to associate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I get you, but for real, count us in. We are your girls. Count us in.
Yeah.
We trying to figure out Nicole, that wifey situation. We'll take her too.
I was gonna say, we should try planning like a lunch or dinner date or something.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's the thing,
Absolutely.
Nicole, I don't know how much of that episode with Nicole.
Mhm.
But I mean, I feel like it's very obvious. Like you could tell I'm the loud personality in our relationship. She's a very quiet behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So some people will be like, "Yo, what's your wife like?" Like, I forget because like a lot of again, we're meeting new people here, so
Right.
who they're meeting first, they're like, "Oh, like this is like you guys are get together." 'Cause this is so different. Like, yeah, we're high school sweethearts, so it's
Oh
we just
my God. Y'all are those people. I love it. I love
yeah.
it.
I think you would get along you get along well with her. She's it's I guess like depending who it is that's meeting her for the first time, but there was like a general consensus, that she had she has a resting bitch face.
Oh, so you
Yeah.
married my husband. It's okay.
The Italian version.
Okay. It's so funny because no, so I'm the voice, I'm the forward facing person in our relationship too. Everybody makes this joke that he just learned how to talk in the last 5 years.
I mean, but he did though.
Oh, that's so funny. So that's why we get
And
along.
that's so funny for us. But yeah, he's happy to, kick it in the corner. It's really funny because we've moved multiple times with his military career and whatever, and now after the military. And so the kids are so used to me setting up the house, and regardless of how the living room is situated, it needs to be a chair in the corner. Khara, what is the chair in the corner for?
The chair in the corner is so my dad can get away, so he can be in the room, but not in the conversation. It's been like that my whole life, that one singular chair. And a lot of times it'll be like a random chair she thrifted, doesn't match the rest of the seating within, and it's just that one chair that's made for him.
That's amazing.
And that is forever because I was the type, well, with his military career, I had to do a lot of hosting and different things. We, had a lot of social things going on or whatever, but he just doesn't want to be the center. That's not his deal. And that's kind of the trade-off in our relationship. I'll take that for him in a social situation. I don't force him into the front. And if we're hosting inside of our house, whether it's friends over for a cookout or just coming over to kick it for a little while or whatever, everybody is doing what they're doing and he's present, but he is in that corner, in that chair. And I don't force him to be anybody else except himself. I make him comfortable and we do what we do, and it has lasted and it's good. It's good. I can't say anything. So Nicole sounds like good, steady people. She sounds like I know her.
Oh yeah, she's very laid back. I don't know. I don't know what else I could really say that's not like basic or cliche, but super down to earth. Like
Mhm.
for the bros back at home, she was always like the cool chick. Like, even when my friends were still dating, like there was always issues with their partner. But Nicole was always the one
Mhm.
that like we never complained about. Like we always complained about this person or that person's girlfriend. But
Right.
I don't know, like, whether because Nicole was there or whatever, like there was no like she never made anything inconvenient for the guys.
Right.
Like
Right.
she just kind of knew when to be there or when not to be there, like
Exactly.
so it
Exactly.
made things real easy in terms of like, with our social life. But, trying to make friends, that's where I'm like, oh, babe, come on, man. Like, you're out there working, like, you see people, like, like I hear mentions of like, oh, if you met my husband, or, they would talk about
Right.
dinner. I'm like, like, schedule that dinner, like, I'm desperate. Like, I need to, like, I need to just, like, just, yeah, I don't know, talk to people.
Look, you have said it. You have said it. I'm gonna be creeping into your DMs. I'll be like, dude, what is going down? Yeah, no,
Do
I
not
can
creep,
appreciate
Mom.
that. Huh?
Do not creep into DMs.
Oh,
like,
don't
let's
creep. I apologize.
no.
I take that back. I take that back. I won't creep. I won't creep, but I will definitely message. She's like, that's a whole different context. Do not creep. Okay. I will not creep, but I will be messaging you so that we can catch up. Little known fact about us.
Yeah.
My husband is a huge UFC guy. I am just a John Jones fan. And so yeah, so because he really hadn't been fighting, he had so much controversy in his life and everything, I kind of fell off with UFC. Plus, it wasn't really producing the best for quite some time. And so I was like, I'm good.
Well,
so we used to go to fights. We were those people. We were hanging out in Vegas. We still hang out in Vegas. I'll just be real. Yes, we would hang out in Vegas and stuff, Atlanta, wherever we could catch a fight, we would be there. That was one of our big pastimes. And so we are sports people to a degree. We did give up football. It almost killed him, but the football world was tripping. They were tripping, and I haven't found my way back, even though I was like down for the cause. Khara, who's my team? Who was my team?
Baltimore Ravens.
All day long. All day long.
I mean, but he traded out football for baseball, which he
was always a baseball
fan.
Yeah,
always a baseball person.
Physically going, yeah, he traded out football for baseball. So you'll catch us at a lot of Dodgers games and stuff now. I don't care about baseball. I go to eat. That's it.
Well, we only keep up with UFC, and we watch all of the fight nights, like the ones in Vegas. So we have the ESPN Plus just for that. And usually every Saturday we have like UFC food that we order. Like, we have like a whole thing for fight night. But I mean,
Sorry, Khara, does that sound like your childhood? Oh my God.
I had a lot of nights where they would be like, all right, you got to go to bed. But when the fight comes on, the main event comes on, we'll wake you up. We'll come get you so you can watch. And I'd be like, okay, I got you.
Surprise! I'm not loud. I'm pretty sure. I feel confident that I am not a loud like fan when I'm watching fights. I'm not.
Well, we are. We're loud.
There's only one time I like loudly celebrated. Actually, I think it was when oh my God, what's his name? Izzy fought Alex Pereira. Like this,
okay.
Oh my God, I'm blanking on his name. But anyway, he lost his title. But we're not. Yeah, we're not like loud. We're not those type of watchers. We kind of just
okay. Y'all are quiet and contemplative.
Kind of quiet, but like, like I'm not saying we're like we're like just like awkward. Like we're saying, well, Nicole, she's pretty vocal. Like, she likes it when it gets real gritty and bloody and like, I don't know if it's because she works in a medical field, but she's used to seeing that stuff, so she likes to see it. And I
Right,
like to see the technical side of like the martial arts. Like I really like martial arts,
right,
so like just seeing,
right.
I can appreciate all the jujitsu stuff when it's like boring. Like when it's boring and it's all
Absolutely.
grappling stuff, like I can sit through that and appreciate it still. Um, but yeah, like yeah. So it's hard for us to make plans for Saturday night because guaranteed we're watching UFC fights that night.
No, I respect that. That is cool. I'm your girl probably on a Thursday night for dinner before we finish out our week, just kicking it, catching up, having a
we
glass
could
of wine if that's what we're
we could
doing, and
totally
going
do
on
that
about our
too.
business.
Hell yeah,
I
we could
tell people,
totally do that.
it's so funny because we were out at, like I said, my friend's farm yesterday, and she was like, "I'm really sorry. The next time we'll spend longer time." And I was like, "Please no, please no longer. We're not longer time people. We're here for a good time, not a long time." That's cool.
That's hilarious. Good calls
No,
like
we
that.
will definitely catch up. We will definitely catch up. I'm
Sure.
glad to hear that you guys are in a place of, just acceptance and really looking for community here. It's not the easiest thing to build. And when we're living in a world right now where everybody is finding a reason to be divided about something, it's
Yeah.
absolutely crazy. So yeah, to find people that are like-minded and really looking for community, that's cool for me. I'm there.
Car, I've not forgotten about you. I know it might seem like I haven't heard enough from you, and that's my fault. So I apologize. That
No,
being
I'm not a
said,
major talker. I'm
uh,
I'm more of an observer, especially when I'm chilling with her. I observe more. So me not talking is solely based on me in what's going on up here, I guess.
well, I gotta hear what's going on in that dome. No,
Um,
no,
I mean, I'm just enjoying this.
okay.
I don't know.
Want to make sure you're comfortable and you're cool, chilling here. Chilling
Yeah, I
around.
mean, I think I go through this thing of just enjoying hearing her talk and hearing her mind and the way she converses with people,
Okay.
which I think I've kind of based a lot of how I talk off of. So I just enjoy listening. That's my thing.
I respect that. I was gonna like put you on the spot and try to dig into your creative background because you mentioned doing some iPad work. You want to answer that, or are you
I
gonna?
mean, I've definitely I definitely slowed down because I am in college. I'm in nursing school, and so a lot of my energy is tapped out. So I kind of just try to, like, within our business, I just try to support her, do social media, and like do smaller things. And when I do have that energy to sit down and make and whatever, it has to be something that I'm really into at the moment. Um, and it has to be kind of easy enough for me to just do. I don't want to have a whole bunch of materials and try to figure out how to do it, because a lot of times I like different forms of art. And so learning how to do a new form of art every single time isn't the best.
Mhm.
So being able to just like get on my iPad and I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna draw this, and like in 2 more days, if I want to come back to it, I can modify it even more. I've kind of done art throughout my whole life, but it's because of my mom. Um, like I used to do a lot of watercolor and everything like that, and that's what I did kind of like before having my iPad. But art wasn't something I ever thought, okay, like this is something I want to take into a career or anything like that. It kind of more came to the forefront when my mom was like, all right, I'm starting this business. Do you want to join me on this? Like you can put your couple pieces in whenever you want. And I put some things in there every now and again. But like I get sidetracked and then I forget about them, and then we don't take them to markets, and when we don't sell them and whatever. And so they kind of just sit there.
Well, I wondered about that. Like if do you create some of the artwork for Aubrey Richards Boutiques?
I don't think I've done any like bigger pieces, but I've definitely made some like stickers. Yeah, I think I've made a couple stickers for
And decals.
yeah,
And
stickers and
decals.
decals. But other than that, I don't think I've done a ton, or if like I've given my input on her artwork and I've been like, ooh, that would look really good with this in it. So I haven't done anything major within the art aspect of our thing.
Okay.
No, she's definitely more tapped in with the boutique side, the meaning the clothes and what we bring in for our resale. She's definitely more tapped in that regard. And also because a big component for us is supporting the local music scene here in Richmond. And so we've done some styling for RVA. Is it RVA Mag? RVA
Yes.
Magazine? Yeah, we've done some styling for them and been able to get involved with
Here
some of the things
RVA.
that Here RVA was doing last year and different things. They are really cute, really, a beautiful couple coming on the scene in the music business. I know her husband raps, and Ryan herself is just a beautiful personality, but they're on the music side. And so the boutique kind of does a little bit of everything. And not that we don't say no to anything, but we let the boutique show up as it shows up. We're not these people that have this staunch hold on it and say it has to present this way under this brand and only that. That's not who we are. The boutique gets to be many things, including community.
That's cool. I saw one of your setups at one of the makers markets, RVA makers markets at Basic,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
I think your son was helping out at the table, and maybe you, Khara,
Mm-hmm.
before I met.
Mm-hmm.
It was before I met you guys, and
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I was admiring the products you had. I mean, you had the famous design with the fallopian tubes, right? Or is that the
The
uterus?
uterus.
The uterus.
The
Yeah.
uterus. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
getting it wrong.
It's okay.
But I mean, I mean, beautifully designed, and I think you had your bags
Thanks.
out, right? Because you have them on bags, I believe, or totes.
Yes, I do have them on bags. Yeah.
But yeah, I like your whole like the display rack that you have.
Yeah, the display board. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So do you do like kind of like thematic setups for every event?
Yes. Yep.
Interesting. Because sometimes I try to
Absolutely.
do something like that as well with my setups, like depending on the market, or I guess like if it's a
Yep.
holiday themed, I'm like, all right, maybe
Yep.
this time I'll have more of my tech utopia, like dystopian art out
Yep.
on the table, or I'll try to have more of like the fan pop art, or
Yep. Yep.
the food. I'm still figuring things out on like
Mhm.
how like at least my setups, how like we make money for the business. Honestly, like to
Right.
kind of go back to the perfectionism, I feel like that got that increased once I turned my name into an LLC. Once I was like a legit
Yes.
LLC, then everything
Yeah.
is like, oh, I could possibly make money out of this.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna do
Exactly.
that. So I feel like that kind
We are too in LLC. Exactly. And it's a little bit different when you're in LLC. It's a little bit different when you take your stuff seriously enough to become a brand.
yeah.
It just is. And so the display board, all of that is very intentional. It is very intentional. The display board helps me out in the regard of it takes some of the pressure off of Khara because it's made for minimalism.
Yeah.
And so I can't take everything because I want to take
And I mean,
everything.
she says it takes some of the pressure off of me, but she still goes through a process of like, it has to be perfect and it can't be too much of this. And like, oh, you need to take that off, or I forgot to put this on. And I'm just like, all right, you need to take 5 steps back because I'm not going through this with you right now. All right.
Yeah,
You putting on there what I said.
that's so funny. You know, that's so funny. I've had like not an argument, but I've had like conversations with Nicole about our setup because sometimes, because like we have like this inside joke of like she manhandles my stuff, you know, but she's a little
I
aggressive,
love it.
and I mean it might be me overreacting too, but again, you know, like I'm trying to sell this, but
Right.
once we get our space, like so once we find our spot, she tends to like just takes over and just starts putting shit wherever she wants. I'm like, wait, no, hold on. I'm like, no, that shouldn't be there. Like she just takes over and I try to tell and like also like, you know, we set up early in the morning and she's not a morning person. So there's a little bit of that. So
Right.
you gotta like calm it
So-
down, babe. It's like,
I love that. But see, I am okay. So, first of all, let me say this. I've been teaching forever. That is my first gig, teaching. Okay. And once you raise kids, you understand different temperaments completely differently, and you know what you can get from people who are tempered a particular way. So we are never fighting about setup. And why we're never fighting about setup is because I've run through it 3 times and then I went through and I took pictures of the whole thing and I took pictures of every section. And then I have sent everybody a message with the setup pictures attached to it. So all you got to do is show up and execute. When we pack it up to bring it out, it is packed up according to the way that it should be unpacked.
funny.
And it's done. People laugh and they say, you guys execute like a well-oiled machine. I don't want to tell people I am so damn anal. If it doesn't happen that way, I will probably lose my shit. But that is the truth of it. It has to just flow. Everything about me is about protecting my peace. I need it to just be chill. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
I
I don't
feel
want to
that.
fight with you. I'm not willing to fight with you. If I have to fight with you, we don't need to have anything to do with each other this day. It's okay.
So funny.
Yeah,
That's
I don't think
it.
we've ever had a market or anything where we came and we were like, oh, we didn't run through our setup, because I have packed it down to the point where regardless, if you are just walking up and we're like, all right, we need help setting up, you can probably figure out how to put it up. And when we tear down, it is in 5 minutes and you're like, hold on, the event just ended. Where did they go? Because like it's a science now. We have, how long have we been doing it? A little over a year now in like popping
with this
up.
setup.
Yeah.
With this setup a little over a year. And the thing is that I had set out when I started with that display that I would take pictures like that for a year. And we're coming up on, we're right there. And we were laughing the other day because we were like, oh my goodness, we're at a year. So we can stop taking the pictures of this particular setup because we have it in so many iterations now that we can just go through the pictures. She's working on cataloging the pictures. And so we can just go through and pick a setup now and then reproduce it for whatever we're doing it for. Yeah,
I need to run a more efficient operation with my wife. But then again, I don't know.
Yeah, she might not be having that. Don't try that,
That's
buddy.
all I'm saying.
I
I'm
do
like,
not. I do not advise you to do that.
like she like we do like we run pretty fluidly when it comes to setting up, but there are times where there might be some stuff like I don't want to put up, again because maybe of the theme or something. My only thing
Yeah.
with her is again how she like handles like the framed art. Like I have a certain way of stacking them inside my bin. Like
Yes.
have to be a certain order, size order. Each layer, there's always a layer of like bubble wrap.
Yeah.
Like I have
Yeah.
a certain thing. And yeah, I just have to make sure it's like nice and flush. Like
Yes. It's a thing, but I'll tell you that for us, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Khara, but for us, we just don't get in each other's lane. Like we have particular roles. Like once I spend time setting it up the 2 or 3 times before, and I say, okay, this feels good, it feels natural, everything I want displayed is displayed or whatever. After I take those final pictures, she comes through there like a tornado and she takes it all down. She packs it all up herself or whatever. And I'm not allowed to be involved in that process.
Yeah, I
If I
typically send her
try to
away.
get involved, say it again. I
I
want
send
this
you
on
away. I'm just
record.
like, go away. Just don't touch it.
that's funny.
I mean, but it works. We found out what works. And, I'm just like, all right, let me get this done. And then we can move on to what's next. Because when we're in the space all together or trying to input all of our own opinions, I mean, that's when we do end up like not necessarily fighting, but arguing about something that shouldn't even be an argument about.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that's pretty funny. Like it just makes me like, just recall on how Nicole and I operate. But I
Yeah.
mean, that's good if you don't get in each other's way and like just knowing when not to. Like I think
Yeah.
Nicole recognizes that as well. Like if there's certain pieces, like if there is something that I'm like super particular about, she'll know when it's time to park the car or get the car. Like I'm gonna go get the car, and then you like stack it the way you need it to feel safe.
I
So
love that.
I think she lets me like pack it and everything because I know I'm going to be the one taking it out. So she's like, all right, you pack it in the format you need it. And when we get to where we're going, you know exactly where it goes while I'm figuring out more information on the event or where we're going or like what we're doing here. So she has allowed me to kind of pick and choose how I put everything together.
But not just that. I think I allow her to pick and choose how she is going to show up, period. I think that my strength a lot of times is in my partner, whether it is the partner that I'm married to, the partner being my daughter that I'm in business with. I love partnerships. I love partner work, period. Again, I come from a place of really thriving in community. So I think that in having her as a partner, what happens a lot of time for me is that it's absolutely essential to kind of lift her up and let her work in a way that's autonomous so that she can show up as well. We don't show up in the same way. We don't show up doing the same things, but she's just as vital in her role as I am in mine. And I mean, literally, I couldn't think of partnering with anybody else to do this, not just in namesake, but this chick holds me down. Do you hear me?
hell yeah. So,
She holds me
just
down. That's it. That's it. That's my girl. And you know, I don't know about other people's small businesses, but small business money is so volatile. Oh my God. It is up, it is down. You might not make a sale for 30 days.
oh
It
my
is just
God.
all over the place.
Yeah.
And so what has happened for me is that she's the only one that gets a paycheck. It's as simple as that. I understood in coming to the business, this is not my first business, but I understood in coming to the business, it may not literally be profitable for the first 3 years or so. And I was okay with that. But the way I see my worth and value at 47 is not the way she sees her worth and value at 20. So she's the one that gets a paycheck, period. That's all to it. We're doing this together. And until she is in a place where she knows her value differently or whatever, or that her value is not attached to a dollar or whatever, I let me know what her value is and where she sees her value at 20. And if her value is, girl, I need money to get to this concert in Baltimore next week, then I'm taking care of her value and helping her see, exactly what that is. I do not ever try to take advantage. And if I have, it's definitely not on purpose. And I try to lift her up in that, but also for all of my kids, believe it or not, all three of them are in college all at the same time. All of them grew up with a plan to execute, that they were all going to nursing school, her being the last one. The other one graduates in May from nursing school. And then our son took a whole nother path, but I told you he had to really work out some mental health things. And now he's doing film school at VCU. So he's the only one that didn't go the path that we thought that we had them all on, which is absolutely fine. But this is they're all overachievers in their own right, but this is the one that really, my goodness. So she had her doula certification her last year of high school. She delivered her first baby before she turned 18, assisted in the birth or whatever. She helped me, get this business up and running. She shows up, she's there for it or whatever. She is handling college all at the same time. So yeah, we don't take her for granted. We make sure she's compensated and she's a partner.
Yeah. Also know that, getting like a nursing degree and everything, you will be well respected by the Filipinos. The Filipinas. I don't know how they are here. But
explain that. Pick that apart for us. Tell us about that.
Oh, it's just well, it's pretty much it's a stigma with truth behind it. But a lot of Filipinos come to the US, and get up in the nursing programs. And I don't know, like Filipinos are just known to be nurses. Like they are a big percentage of the population of, in terms of ethnicities in nursing. The big.
That was not something we were aware of.
Yeah, I didn't know
that.
Wow.
All right, maybe so. Again, I'm only judging this by like live back in Jersey, because I used to work in nursing homes and stuff, and a lot of my family were nurses. My mom was a nurse. My sister is a nursing director, I think, or something like that. My dad was a nurse and a teacher. My oldest was going to nursing school too at one point. So, But like it's the same story with like a lot of Filipinos back from what
I love that. I don't even mind that. And this is not a knock against the doctors that are out there, because I promise you, they do what they do. We need them for diagnosis. But nurses, come on, we all know we couldn't get anywhere without nurses. We all know that's the true medical field, and I respect it highly. In thinking about what we wanted for our kids, what we really wanted was stability.
Yeah, of course.
What we wanted was respect in their community. What we wanted was for them to be able to work in a way that kept them intact with their compassion for a lifetime. And that's what nursing is. That really is what it is. I mean, how many butts are you willingly going to wipe outside of that?
I don't know. I'm just getting over my wife seeing me wipe my own butt, so I'm still recovering from that experience. But but yeah, Filipinos are big on the nursing. So
Yeah, yeah, that's good. That's
but that
good.
was one
Look,
of
if
my
that's a
ultimatums.
people, really?
Yeah, my dad was like, because I was before college, I stopped drawing for a while and got into music. So I started learning how to play guitar. And my dad wasn't really having it, like, the idea of me going to like music school. So he was
Mhm.
like, "You either gonna go to school for," he's like, "animation, nursing, or the Marines." So I'm like, all right. So I went to school for animation. And yeah.
I love it.
I mean, that's
Oh,
kind of
so
how you guys were kind of in a way. You guys were like, all right, we want you guys to have a stable life,
Yeah. It was
regardless of
always
what you
about
want to
that.
do. Yeah, they were like, all right, I don't even care if after nursing school you want to live in a box on the side of the road, but when you're tired of that, you need a job, you need something to be able to fall back on. And so they were like, nurses are always in demand. There's good money there, get that. And for me, since I already knew nursing was on the table, I guess I kind of found a concentration within that I was always interested in. And that's how I fell in love with labor and delivery and babies and stuff like that. And so through them, kind of like being like, all right, this is something you have to do, I found that. But I definitely hear you on like the music thing. Music is a major part of my life. I know how to play guitar and bass. And so after nursing school or through nursing school, like I've thought about, all right, well, what if I go after this to music school, or I'm really into the weather. So I've thought about becoming like a meteorologist and going to meteorology school and stuff like that. So they're like, do nursing and then you can do whatever you want afterwards.
Yeah. That's so funny. Yeah, I miss playing guitar. Good times. But I didn't do anything fancy, so but I think that was
And
a
I don't play mine much either.
yeah, and like I always look back and I'm like I always tell myself one day, but you know. But yeah,
Mine stares at me from my wall and it's just like, play me, please play me. And I'm just like, another time.
I don't even own one anymore, which is probably a good thing, but I do have a ukulele. So I wanted to like make it a thing to, as a way to decompress, I would have like a little jam session for myself. And
yeah.
I only had a ukulele, but then I started getting like kind of serious about it. And I'm like, oh shit, it's
Yeah.
happening again. I was like, I gotta get like, remind myself like the focus, like we gotta focus on this. you know.
I love that though. But again, that's the mind of a creative. And the way
Yeah.
you do one thing is the way you do everything. But that's crazy. We've got way too much in common. I do not, let me say, I don't play the guitar, I don't play the ukulele. But she plays the guitar and the bass, more the bass or whatever. The other one, our other daughter, can this is gonna sound so funny, but she can shred on a ukulele.
Oh, nice. Nice. I would believe
She
it.
plays the ukulele very well. And then the son, the only son, if it's percussion, he's got it.
I have
There
a
it
mini
is. That's the end of it.
djembe.
And you have what?
I have a mini djembe that I used to play, like mess around
Oh,
with. Yeah,
that's
they're
too
fun.
crazy.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness. So
I
yeah, we
think
love the mute.
I have an addictive personality too, I believe. So
Okay.
if when I get like when I see there's potential somewhere, like I get really obsessed
Yeah.
about it. So I have to,
Yeah.
you know, same thing applied to like working out, MMA,
Hmm.
all that stuff. I'm like, chill. You're not training for a fight. Like I've actually questioned myself a couple of times. Who you gonna fight after this? Because what the hell's going on here?
I mean, you never know who you're going to walk upon in the street. Every day is a
That's
time for you.
that goes through my head too. I'm like, hey, I gotta be ready for the streets. But the truth is, I never fucking leave my apartment. I'm always in here and just grinding away.
Oh my God,
I
that
don't
is
leave the streets
funny.
unless we're going to Kroger with my wife. My wife is my protection.
Oh, that is funny. That is
Yeah,
funny. Oh
she
my gosh.
knows more about the community than I do, for sure.
Oh my gosh. We got to
Um,
get you out, buddy.
yeah, for sure. All right, I really want to touch on this because we briefly talked about it when we first met, and that
Mhm.
was sort of the idea of you know, if gatekeeping, gatekeeping, and is the market scene saturated because of how regular it is? Do you remember that conversation?
I do. I do. I figured we would talk about it a little bit. Yeah. Um,
Now, like what? So yeah, I'm curious. Like, do you think there is gatekeeping and the saturation on the market scene right now?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Definitely both. Definitely both. I think that's why I don't do an either or for myself. As a boutique, I can dibble and dabble wherever I want to.
Mm.
I've had people tell me that I couldn't participate in makers markets because I am a boutique.
Oh.
I've I've gone back and questioned some people and they were very firm in their answer. And then I've questioned other people and they're saying, oh, okay, well, no, if you're a maker as well, and we can have you only bring the things that you make, by all means, come on out, participate.
Got
And
it.
so that's the format in which you met me, is that that's only my maker stuff. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, so it splits my boutique down the middle, which is fine because my boutique was always going to be a place where I could play with fashion, but also bring my maker persona into it and whatever.
Hmm.
So I've met the gatekeeping in that sense. I've met the gatekeeping in the sense of um I am very big on details and packaging, like they make or break an item.
Uh-huh.
So we've been told that our stuff looks like it should be in the stores or if it's mass produced, and people don't really want that in their maker spaces. We didn't know that. Yeah, what was it? What were we told it was too finished?
Really?
Yeah, something like that. Because, like,
But that's what you
if
should strive for.
yeah, like we're sitting down and
That's what we
she
thought.
has made the prints and everything like that, and I'm going through and I'm packaging it, and we have our backing boards, we have our mats, we have our business cards that we drop into it, we have the wrapper that we put it in, but that's because we like to present it in a way that someone else could see it in their space, and also it stops it from getting damaged on the way back and forth to your home and everything like that.
Wow, I didn't
Yeah.
think that would be an issue. So they're
Yeah,
like, you
in
guys look a little
makerspaces, it
too
is.
professional for this small
Yeah,
business
it's a
market.
little too pristine. Exactly. Take it outside and rub a little mud on it. Bring it back when it's
So
dirty.
funny.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
it's that deal. My stuff doesn't look homemade enough
Wow.
for some people. And that was a blow. That was a blow because I've worked hard at really giving whatever I do a really detailed, nice finish. You know, when I'm doing clothes, when I'm doing bags, I don't know. We put out a reel. I can't even say I because it had less to do with me than it did to do with Khara, but we put out a reel of me making one of the bags. And yeah, I really do go through with a scissors and no strings. Yeah, I'm anal about stuff like that because I want for you to feel the value in what you purchase from me the way I feel when I'm producing it. You know what I'm saying? I want that to be a real something realized. And yeah, so to find out that I can't get a Halloween market because my stuff is too cute or too clean. So I can't get an invitation. We had no markets in October.
Really?
None.
Like, and you tried all like the main, like, well, to
I
me,
tried,
like the main
yeah, we
one.
tried everybody. Yeah.
Wow.
We couldn't get in. And so I was like, whoa. So I'm not gonna lie, it changed how I worked, not my stuff, but how I worked to get into markets and to who I worked with. If you turned me down, I absolutely remember it.
Wow.
That's all to it. Because the thing is that what I do know is that anytime I'm in a space, it's already made the space diverse.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? I'm not doing what everybody else is doing. Am I doing prints? Yes, but am I doing what other people are doing? No.
Yeah, yep. That's the question I ask myself a lot is like, because I've been, yeah, in a way when I visit events, I'm trying to do like it's like a little bit of homework. I'm like trying to take some mental notes and
Yes.
stuff because I'm learning
Yes.
now. It took me 3 years to figure it out, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
doing the events I've done, I'm learning like, all right, at these markets, prints is like the way to go. When it comes to original art, you know, I'm most likely gonna have I can sell original art at festivals as opposed to
Yes.
doing smaller events.
Yes.
So we're like, I'm
Yes.
finally realizing that now. Uh,
Yes.
but it's so funny. So like going back to like the gatekeeping, I really resonate with that because I was sort of feeling that way. Because I don't know, I felt like I was struggling to get my foot in the door with with some of these organizers.
Mm-hmm.
I,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I don't know. Of course, it started making me question like my actual artistic ability,
Right.
and I'm like, is my
Right.
stuff like just not good enough for like I don't know, like they don't think like people would like it. I don't know. All these questions were going through my head, and I don't know. I was sort of feeling, and again, right, because I've gone to these events, I've seen the type of
Right.
vendors they've had, so I was wondering, like, am I like, it sounds arrogant, but I'm like, well, is my work too different for comparable to the other
Right.
vendors, like. So it really was bringing up a lot of questions and a lot of emotions where I'm like, damn, like,
Right.
how am I going to be able to expand if I can't get in these markets?
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know, um, but I also feel like there's so many. Like I definitely was not used to that coming here. Um,
Right.
I used to do these flea markets in Trenton, New Jersey,
Yep.
and they
Yep.
well, are you aware of the Trenton
Mm-hmm.
Rock Flea Market?
Absolutely.
Oh, hell yeah.
Absolutely.
So we would do though, we got to a point where we were doing just about almost every season. I think it was the Christmas one we wouldn't really do as much just because we hate the cold. But
Right.
you know, but yeah, we were doing at least 4 or 5 of those events. Well, whether it was
Right.
either Trenton Punk Rock Flea Market or they would have the art all day or the art all night events. So anything
Right.
that artworks, which is funny because there's artworks in Trenton. So whatever
Mm-hmm.
those organizers were doing, like we would be right on it. And it's like funny because that one took a while. That one took a while for me to get on, and like it started becoming easier, to do more events with them. But that one was
Right.
real difficult to first get in there, and I was feeling that way again here. But having spoken to a lot of the other vendors, like some of the things that I've been thinking or have been like confirmed. Like I've had some certain bad vibe with other organizers, and like
Yep.
I've had conversations with a friend uh who like does not like I'm not gonna name her. I don't want to just
No, not at all.
but
Absolutely.
she does really cool stuff. Uh but yeah, she felt a certain way with this one organizer. I've been pretty vocal about it. It's the person that runs like the artisan events. Are you
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
just because like the experiences I've had so far just haven't been great, especially the
Yeah.
first time. So it's just like I kind of have like certain feelings about them, but some of the things I've felt were confirmed after talking to my friend and like even like other Renee too. Like we did an event together, and we were 2 out of 3 actual visual illustrators. I mean, she had her jewelry, of
Mm-hmm.
course, but like in terms
Yes.
of actual visual artists, like it was just the 3 of us, and everyone else
Right.
were crafters. And I just like I don't know, it started making me question I don't know, like who's the juror of these events,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and also like I guess like the intent too, because like I understand supporting small business community and all of that, but
Right.
sometimes we get I don't know, man. I might be just being really critical because of maybe just speaking out of experience, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you can tell who's like a good organizer when you're doing these events.
Yes.
And
Yes.
something that me and my friend pointed out was like that the thing that this person was not doing was checking up with their vendors. And
Yeah.
in my experience, like that's always been like, you know, that's always been a plus. Like if they were come, of course, like depending how many vendors there are,
Right.
but they always made it a point to check in on your status, see how you're doing,
Right.
you're
Right.
enjoying yourself. There was none of that with this one here, and I've always,
Yeah.
what's up with that? So,
That's crazy. But no, there's gonna be good coordinators, and there's not gonna be, and there's gonna be not so great coordinators. For me, a good coordinator is somebody that really communicates well, somebody that has a vision, whether it's for the vendors or just even down to the setup.
yeah,
Communicate, get in that map ahead of time so you can kind of figure out your space and what you're bringing and what you're not is crucial. You don't want to pack up all this stuff to only find out that you can only get 50% of it into the spot, period, and then have to lug all this stuff back. The other thing for me is I want diversity in the pool of vendors and artists.
yeah,
I absolutely do. For me, I guess my goal might be a little bit different than, say, for somebody for like yourself, that's just focusing on your art. For me, my setup is really, I want 2 events a month. One, I want an actual event, and 2, I want a maker's event. Does that make sense?
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
because I don't get to bring the full spectrum of what it is that we do to a maker event. And then at another event, I can bring the full spectrum of the boutique. So that is very key to me. The other thing for me is that even for artists, and you and I were talking about this because you were contemplating it or whatever, there really has to be something other than just the art or the print. The stickers is what you and I were talking about. The stickers are key. People buy stickers. If it's pins, people buy pins. You know, I, over the holidays, was doing ornaments. And then I realized it wouldn't take much of anything for me to take this same piece that I would use to make an ornament and not put the string through the top, attach the magnet to the back, and now I'm making magnets.
Yeah.
It's the way we think about productivity and what we have, because the thing is that if we are depending on a sale or even a sales goal and reaching that for ourselves in the arena of what we do, it doesn't matter how you reach that. It matters that you reach that. And so having diversity of product absolutely matters. The print, that uterus print sells time and time again. I almost kick myself when I don't bring them. I'm like, what the hell was I thinking?
Yeah.
I didn't bring the uterus print. But that uterus print is a uterus print. It is a bag. It is a sticker. It is multiple things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing. As an artist, you may not go to marketing school. You may not understand how to fill out your price points. But if your art is $70 or $50, and you have people that love what you do, but they don't have $70 or $50 to spend with you, why do you not have a $5 sticker? Because you're $5 closer to your 50 or your 70 if they buy that sticker than them walking away and not buying anything. You know what I'm saying?
Impulse items.
You have to fill out these price points. You have to know what you're doing and how you're doing it. It's great to be artists. All of us don't have to be damn starving artists.
Yeah.
What is that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some of us have to use a little bit more of our business savvy to do exactly what we're doing. And, you know, coordinators are great, but they're coordinators. I have my favorites. I'm going to show up for them every time they ask. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there's some that I've worked with one time and I'll never work with them again. It just won't happen. Be it bad communication, be it bad setup, be it bad venue, whatever it was that it was, at the end of the day, you as the coordinator had to foresee some things. And when you don't, I'm okay. I'm never gonna badmouth you, but I'm never showing up again. I'm never doing that with you, you know? And I would like to feel like I've added something. We've added something. Aubrey Richards Boutique has added something when they came and they showed up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if we didn't, then it was not a good fit. I'm absolutely moving on. I'm absolutely moving on. Can I ask you a question? Is that allowed in the space? Okay.
Absolutely.
So do you do like Etsy and stuff like that?
No.
No. Okay. All right. All right.
Yeah.
Is there a
I've been told I
reason?
should. Huh?
Is there a reason?
I think I worry about just being overwhelmed with all the platforms and stuff, like keeping up with
Yeah.
all the shops and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just prefer to try to just do everything direct. Like I have my own online store You know,
Yeah.
everything is accessible, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I think I just because then I don't know. I struggle with doing a lot like of my original art versus
Hmm.
doing pop art or fan art, you know,
Yeah.
and I I always have to worry about falling into that vicious cycle of just focusing on fan art and that's all I do. Because
Yeah.
like I have these certain feelings because like I've gone through those phases, like doing like being a vendor all these years. So like
Yeah.
I started off as a zombie artist. Like I used to zombify people for money. And then it went to like
What?
yeah. And then I started and then to like and then I started doing, you know, these like geek flea markets and like small events trying to sell, you know, these limited prints of like they're random zombies. They're just like my clients, but I made prints of them.
Right. Right.
And then I'm like, all right. So I started zombifying characters, like, you know,
Hmm.
you name it. I would probably, you know, zombify them. And that started getting some traction. And then I started steering away from the zombifying and just started, you know, doing fan art or pop art with my
Right.
style.
Right.
So I was doing a lot of different adaptations and then I just wanted to like make actual meaningful art, like something that's a lot more self-expressive and kind of like just
Okay.
share the stuff that I see and whatnot, which is like my dystopian art. But
Okay.
yeah, and so I worry about going back into those old cycles of like, you know, just like even like the mental like, you know, who am I going to draw next? What's the next big show or comic
Yes.
book or whatever? Like
Yes.
I hate worrying about that. You know, like when
Yeah.
I mean, even like the fan art or whatever you would see me share on the fly, like I kind of go with like who inspires me. If I'm gonna do like fan art, like it's, you know,
Hmm.
it's a
Hmm.
portrait of like, you know, someone that a stand-up comedian or an actor or maybe a character or something. But you know, like as of late, like I go towards portraits of like people that have inspired me.
I think that there's things that we do to stay true to ourselves, and there's things that we do to stay relevant and sellable.
Yeah,
And if you are able to figure out what both sides of that are, I think that that is the balance. That's when you strike balance. I think that too much of what we want or too much of what we think people want
oh yeah,
is their recipes for disaster.
yeah,
The uterus deal, I had played around with it a little bit, but I was kind of, what are people gonna think?
mm.
Because don't get it twisted, I've been to markets and seen the actual vaginal art, not even uteruses, but the vaginal art or the boob art. You know what I'm saying? So I I dug it, but I was like, I don't know. So when the whole thing popped up in our atmosphere, in our real lives with Roe v. Wade,
Mm,
I was like, we're doing it.
mm.
We're doing it. And it was just a matter of it striking at the right time. You understand what I'm saying? That's what it was. It wasn't that I was so genius, it was timing.
Yeah,
And so I think that in terms of being relevant, we do have a responsibility if we want to be sellable to keep our ear for what the people are going through, experiencing, and then reproducing that or producing that in our art to
yeah,
some degree. Art for us is an expression of who we are. Art for people that are buying it, they're not buying it for necessarily who they are, but what their experiences are. And we get the privilege of helping them express that. And that's how I see it. So yeah, I'm coming through with a uterus because I got one. And I got 2 daughters that got 2. And we're very proud of them. We are so proud of our uteruses. I'm not going to use a name, but I was working with somebody here that let me know that in our partnership, I could not bring my uteruses because they had made it very clear to their partners that their environment couldn't be a controversial environment, that it couldn't have anything political in their environment. And so I had to stop and say, oh, do you view your uterus as political? Because my uterus isn't political, it's mine. It's absolutely mine. And I'm extremely proud of it and I honor it. And so you will catch my prints, and some of them literally say, honor your maker, and others of them don't. But no, you're not going to politicize my uterus. That's exactly what this is about. And you're not going to make my uterus controversial. That's a no. That's a big old fat old no. And that was the last time we actually talked. I packed up my stuff and moved on. Because, again, too much of what I want or too much of what they want is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
We don't have to work together.
I always hated hearing, like, I've heard it from like when I would see like my good friends' parents, you know, I know one in particular, he's like, yeah, you got to give the people what they want, right? I'm like, like, doesn't always work like that, man.
Yeah, it doesn't always. The customer is not always right.
Yeah.
They just aren't. Yeah.
It's just
that's a hard place to be.
Yeah. I don't know if they actually consider that, or, you know, are aware that, you know, that's not the case. But I don't know. I'm sure they were just probably saying it just to be like, you know, because they're probably thinking in their head, starving artists. So, you know, just keep trucking. Give the people what they want. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, asshole.
It's not that. It's not that. And I think that that's the thing. As an artist, your values and your principles aren't for sale.
Yeah.
What you hold moral isn't for sale. And some of us in our art, we stay away from things like that because we don't want people to guess or whatever. But the fact of the matter is that may not be the value that you place on your stuff. Maybe it's not a matter of starving or selling. Maybe you're willing to do something else to pay the bills and hold tight to your morals and your values when it comes to your art. And that is your absolute right. But you don't have to, quote unquote, sell out for anybody. You don't have to lessen the value of what it is that you bring to it for anybody's sake. Absolutely not. It's been a pleasure for me to finally get to a point where I could look at my art and say, I'm okay. Because let me tell you, I'm a creative through and through, but my absolute first love is writing. In that regard, in creative space, my first love is writing, my second love is art, and then my third and final is fashion and style.
But now, so the writing, is that why you post a lot about journals?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's you posting.
You know our secret. Oh no.
Like it's starting to add up. Like I'm still processing the whole fact that.
But that's funny that you say that, because she loves journaling just as much. She doesn't write because we have a blog. There's a blog to the boutique.
Yeah, I'm aware.
And so, yeah. So, yeah. Sometimes we sit and we discuss what the blog is going to be about and this and that and the other. But yeah, so my first love, again, the way we do one thing is the way we do everything. So my creativity is, yeah, definitely expressed in writing. I know that the boutique space is not where I can write everything, but do I write everything? I absolutely do. I don't publish everything. I don't put everything out there, but I write about everything. It's just a part of my daily process. It's really funny because I feel like the blog itself is a part of my process because there are so many things that I have to get out and I don't know what it is all the time. I always approach everything like I'm blogging it and I will write it. And then I'm like, ooh, I feel so much better. I just needed to get it out. It never hits a blog. It's nowhere. It's in the book. That's it.
That's kind of how I feel about when I do solo podcasts, when I want to go on my tangents. So like with the saturation of the pop-up, like how, like, well, are there, like, do you have ideas like how you would try to, like, I guess, like, kind of fix that, or, because, like, people make a living off of this thing. So I understand the importance of it, but it's just wild because I was asking another vendor, I'm like, yeah, has it always been this frequent with like all these organizers, or like, because I know some have started because of COVID. And then I believe there are some that always have been doing markets, but just not every weekend.
Exactly.
I forget which one's which, but I'm aware. Like, I know that some have started just because of COVID.
Exactly.
But like, like, is there like a way around that? Is it just a matter of like just doing them?
I don't know what the remedy would be if I were talking to an organizer. I don't know what the remedy is. I know what the remedy is for me, and it's just about showing up with less frequency for me. When you oversaturate a market, when they see you too many times, it's not special anymore.
Yeah.
I think outside of that, the next best thing to do is pick your organizer or two and stick with them and don't show up at anybody else's market.
Yeah.
Let the people come and find you. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what else I would do, because if you're with this market 3 weeks out of the month, and then you're with this other market this time, and then you're at special events or whatever, you've shown up way too many times. Nothing you have is new.
Yeah.
Nothing you have is new, because that's not the way creativity and artistry works.
Right.
You would absolutely be burnt out. In that regard, after that, all I could tell you to do is exactly what you're contemplating. Go to Prince.
Yeah.
That's it, because you can't reproduce original work.
Yeah.
In that time frame. You know what I'm saying? Not to make money. You can't do it. It's not feasible. It's really crazy. I'm working on a piece now. I think I put it up yesterday, and I was talking on top of it, so to speak. I had some blurbs on top of it or whatever, but I'm working on this piece and I love this piece. But to learn how to take mixed media and bring it into, or a collage piece and bring it into digital space or whatever, to be able to learn how to play with depth and position and texture and everything, so it reads the same as if you did a physical work.
Yeah.
Or whatever. It is challenging. It is time consuming, but the real take of that is that, do you know what I would have to do to produce it and sell it for the amount of money that I can produce and reproduce it in print form and timing compared to that physical piece. That's the deal. Because if I'm going to produce it in its physicality and I'm going to sell it once for anywhere from $70 to $200, I'm actually going to be able to put that almost that same amount of time into producing it digitally. And you know how many times I'm going to get to sell it? Exactly. I know how many times I'm going to get to sell it. And let me say, I can quadruple. I mean, I can sell it.
Yeah.
Again and again and again. And then it's on me, because like me and my daughter discuss it, but like now, like that uterus hit so hard. And I used to bring 5, 6, 7 of them out, and 5, 6, 7 of them would sell.
Nice.
And now the thing is on me, I only bring one. And whoever gets it, because that's the integrity about it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To not overproduce it now. And that's what will keep it special. I'll probably only bring one out all year long until we get back to, say, Christmas season, when people are shopping with other people in mind. And maybe I'll bring 5 out at a time. But right now, it's just one. And if you get it, you get it. And if you don't, you don't.
To bring this back to first base, bring this full circle. Let's bring it back to those girls, those Asian girls with the heavy bars. To bring the focus on the love for the uterus. Also, actually, I was thinking for like April Fool's Day, you should do like the opposite and just do like a penis and balls. I might just commission that. Just I think it's funny.
Let me tell you, there is a market for that in Richmond.
I was afraid you were gonna say that. I already knew. Like, yeah, there's a market for that for sure. Like,
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just anatomy. Come on.
Yo, yeah,
exactly.
Hey, if it's done well, you can't hate on it. If it's done real well,
exactly.
I want to try something here. I want to see if I can do a screen share, and I would like you to see these XG gals.
Absolutely. So, first of all, they're beautiful young women. Oh my God, they're very cute. The ornamentry that they're wearing, that she's wearing on her head and everything, so cute, so cute. There's I have a whole host of things that I could say. We do not have any more time for all of that. What I will say is that they are extremely talented. There are some things that I don't know if it was done purposely or not, even down to the fingernails. And I say that because I have been teaching history for years and different things. And these stiletto nails and these coffin nails and all of these things, we got it from Asian culture. So to have this updated, recent version of this Asian woman wearing them, for me by itself, that's stunning. I can appreciate it because a lot of times in Western culture, we exploit things for capitalism, for capitalistic purpose or whatever. So to kind of see that set right in that arena is really, really nice for me. The talent comes in nailing that flow between the languages.
Yeah, I was about to say the way they're able to mix the English and the Korean and everything throughout. It's very smooth. Like if you weren't listening, you wouldn't be able to tell that there was an actual transition between the words. Yeah.
And that's why I was saying earlier, like, unless like you were listening for, if you're actually listening to the lyrics or whatever, and then you start noticing, like, wait, now I actually don't know what they're saying. It's like, oh,
I always listen for the lyrics.
Same. I try to catch, and I will say, to their credit, I mean, this is my opinion, but when they are rapping in English, they enunciate very well, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, like, their cadence is pretty quick.
Yes.
But
yes, it's almost an over enunciation to make sure that they nail it. And that's absolutely fine. I mean, come on. We don't even, we speak the laziest version of English. You know what I'm saying? So when you hear other people say it, you're like, damn, you speak English good.
It's so funny because I have a friend, a distant friend. He's on here a few times, but he's in Luanda, Angola, and he teaches English though, and it's so funny. I'm like, I'm sure my English is like ass right now compared
all of ours. I teach English. I taught English for years, and so like my current students, I have a few that are graduating, and so when I'm in my very professional persona and I'm teaching, I will over enunciate some things to drive a point or whatever. And so I have one student who I adore. And so we were talking about something and I said white. And I said it just like that. And we were further in the conversation and I said white, whatever again. And he says, why do you say it like that? And I said, why do I say it like what? He says, you say white. And I said, what? He says, yeah. He was like, you make me feel dirty for being white. I'm like, oh. Like, you say white with so much conviction. I'm like, oh my God, that's not what I mean. But yeah, we do not speak. And my father is Guyanese and from Guyana, not American at all, and speaks with the heaviest British accent you ever want to hear. It is British colonized.
Yeah.
And so between growing up on military bases and the background that I come from culturally, how you say things makes a difference. And I know we speak the laziest form of English. So to hear them over enunciate or whatever and nail it, have the timing, switching in and out of what I assume is their native languages, because I'm sure there's a few different dialects even still. So whatever dialect they're speaking in or whatever, I think it's absolutely amazing. And now that we've come full circle, I'm just going to give it to you. It is an
geek out a little bit because I've been watching it by myself. I'm like, I need to like just
share
about
it
this with somebody.
Yeah. No, it is definitely an art. It is an art, and I will elevate it to art because I damn sure can't do it.
Yeah, I think visually, and also like I was saying, like even the visuals too. Like it really, like it's like a music video. But I like if you watch it, there's there's like this goddess vibe that they all have. So I'm like, I'm trying to
But I'm not,
trying to
look, I'm
step
not
towards
giving you
like
that. I'm
empowerment.
not giving you that. No, I'm not giving you that part because Lil Kim and Foxy
Oh,
Brown was holding it down
oh,
just
definitely.
like that in the
No,
early
well, that
90s.
I feel like these artists, and I mean, it depends who's listening, because I mean, I remember Foxy Brown, Lil Kim.
Yeah.
Who's the rapper? Do you remember the Ja Rule track? Can I get a what? Who's the
Mm-hmm.
that female rapper? I can never remember her name, but I remember her distinctively too because she had a certain
Flow.
her yeah,
I'm
she had a
trying
certain
to
flow and like the
think.
sound of her voice too. It's not like a smoky tone, but it's
Right.
I don't know. It's like
I
seductive.
don't know.
But
Look,
point
I'm
is
curious.
some of these the girls in this group, like some of them had they would kind of like show that for me. Like I would get these certain vibes from like other inspirations.
Right. Her name was Emil,
Oh,
the rapper back then that was with Ja Rule and them that did Can I Get a What? Yeah.
okay. A meal.
Her name was Emil, Amil.
Can I get a
I
meal?
had to go.
Let me get a
You know
meal
what?
for a meal.
See, and if this makes it into the cut, this is the fool I met on the first night, y'all. This is it right here.
Yeah,
He
I
was
love
so
puns.
he was so cute and unsuspecting and a little bit corny. Let me tell y'all, he came through.
That's usually the first impression I try to give. I like to give the
I
cute,
love it.
warm,
I love it.
warm like a fart. Call me a fartist.
See, and that was the second joke we got when we met him. He was so eager to talk about his butt. I hope this makes it into. He is so proud of his warm creations, y'all. This guy.
I am a
This
creator.
is the guy.
I am.
This is the guy. Yeah, the one way you do the one thing is the way you do everything.
No, man, I really had a great time. I really want to say thank
Absolutely.
you for spending 3 hours because
Absolutely.
I always forget how fast time. I say it a lot on here.
Goes by.
Time flies.
Yeah.
Time really does fly.
Yeah.
So I really hope you enjoyed your first experience doing a podcast.
It was cool.
Now,
yeah.
where can
It was
everyone?
cool. Now I can only speak for myself, but I am going to put her out there because I got a partner. I'm a married woman. So thank you. Thank you for popping Khara's podcast cherry.
I was gonna say real quick, and we could talk about this next time, but I was gonna pitch an idea for a podcast for you guys because you could do a boutique podcast. I'm sure there's stories you can share.
Khara, tell him how many times people try to get us to do that.
That's
okay.
a running theme. Even before we had the boutique, they were like, all right, you guys need either a TV show or a podcast.
Or a
That's
podcast,
good.
and we would crack up. We're like, what?
Hey, no, that's what podcasting is. Like, I mean, if you can share those laughs, like you're recording these memorable moments, and
Yeah.
how can people listening or watching, where can they find you? What's the best place to check out your products, your social media, all that good jazz?
Really, our IG is what we keep up with the most. We have a website. You can catch us at aubreyrichardsboutique.com, but I'm not going to say it's the most updated. It is a lot of work, and you know this.
Yeah.
It is a lot of work to run social media, to do events, to do markets, and a website. And we just rolled out our Etsy space, which is for our maker stuff. And it is, because you don't know them either, that is Esther and Joelle. And so we've got Aubrey Richards over here, and over at Etsy is Esther and Joelle, and that will be our maker stuff. So that's that.
What for the in any chance we might have some Virginians tuning in. What do you want to share? Any events that you got coming up? Are there markets you're going to be doing? Because this will be out. I'll tell you right now. This will be out next week. So either by Sunday or Monday, Tuesday, early in the week. So,
well, our most upcoming is going to be on the 18th of March, and we will be at the Vale with Kismet Market. And we've never been to the Vale. We hang out with Kismet pretty often. Kay over at Kismet is a really cool, level-headed, warm person as a coordinator. She is really coming into her own. You will hear her say 30 times in any market, I just can't say no to people. I just can't say no. And now here we are months later, and she's learning how to say no. So we love that. It is really shaping her into a fabulous coordinator, because to create the diversity, as we talked about, and to get things going, sometimes you just got to say no to people. So we've enjoyed Kismet Markets, and we'll be hanging out with her. So March 18th, that's where we'll be. But check us out on our IG. That's where we do the daily work, as you know, because that's where we all do the daily work. And the markets, they highlight us. That's where we get our big opportunities to really sell. But that daily work really matters too, and the support matters. So check us out on IG.
Yep, and that's the Aubrey Richards Boutique with a period in between each word for the listeners.
Except for boutique, absolutely.
Except for boutique.
We appreciate you, G. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you. I've taken enough of your time, but for everyone that has shared these moments with us, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to hit follow and subscribe if you want to support the podcast, or if you want to support my artwork, you can find me on Instagram and Facebook as well at RG No, I don't know why I said it like that, but yeah.
It was that last hit. It was the last hit.
Anyway, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay driven, and we shall catch you on the next one. Peace out to everyone. Bye.
Peace out.
I'm glad you clarified to me that you like to be chilling in the background and just.
Yeah, I like to be chilling in the cut. That's what I do.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, right.